This is my second channel called Nick Shirley Interviews, and just the other week, 72 hours after I had posted the most viral video expose in the history of the internet where I exposed Minnesota fraud, I agreed to do an interview with Andrew Callaghan. Before that, I had done Patrick Bet David, Iced Coffee Hour, and so I had literally been going from 72 hours of just nonstop chaos, and Andrew hit me up and I said, yeah, let's do the interview. Me and Andrew had talked before. We were in good relations before as far as like having mutual respect for one another. And I said, yeah, let's do the interview. And then about a week and a half later, he then posted the interview, and I see the interview and I say, what is this? This is only an hour long. And then I watch the interview and I say, wait, what's going on? This isn't the full interview. Like, what is this? And I want to give you guys two examples before I go into the entire 2.5 interview with Andrew. The first one is right here when we're talking about America's cities that are prospering. Pay close attention to what he puts in versus what actually happens. This is the first example. What American city is prospering right now?
Austin.
Austin. Name another one.
El Paso, Texas.
El Paso, Texas is prospering.
Yeah. Nashville's doing good. Phoenix is doing good. Basically, any place with low state tax is getting a lot of.
In any place that's not Democrat.
I don't know about that. I mean,
name a Democrat city that's prospering right now.
Well, it would have to be one that's affordable.
Name one.
Denver.
Why are you smirking? It's not prospering. Denver's not prospering either. Yeah.
Denver.
Why are you smirking?
Because I don't know if it's prospering.
Because it's not. See, you can't even answer the question. It's not prospering. Denver's not prospering either.
I agree that Democrat-run states are doing badly.
And now the second example when we're talking about Somalians being known for pirating, as 89% of the fraud that has been charged inside of Minnesota, 89% of the fraud that's happening in Minnesota is by Somalians. And so this is what Andrew puts in the interview.
Somali community, or do you see it as both?
89% of the fraud is being committed by Somalians.
Where exactly is that statistic from?
You can pull it up on the screen. You'll find it.
I just want to know where it's from.
You want me to find it right now?
For sure, just so I can, I don't know, I believe you. I just want to make sure we have the exact.
Here, right here. Yeah, and it's not racist to say it. Probably. And when I go to the daycares, there's not a single white person running. And this is what he just, for some reason, decides not to put in the interview.
89% of those charged in connection with major... Wow.
Identified as Somali Americans.
Well, looks like we've got redo there. Looks like
I'm interested to see what you put in this interview, because
looks like there is a problem with fraud.
So it was very obvious that Andrew had some sort of agenda or plan as to what he wanted to make me look like inside of the interview, which is not cool. When you do a sit-down interview, you expect for the full interview to get posted, and you don't expect it to just get chopped up in one way or another just to make one person look bad. And now, do I say that is my best interview of all time? Absolutely not. Like I said, functioning off of 72 hours, the craziest days of my life. I think I had probably slept for a total of around 10 hours over the past few days. Went from Florida to Las Vegas, back here to where I'm staying. And so obviously, no, it wasn't my best interview by any means, but do I regret doing it? No, because I thought the full interview would be posted. And now I'll let you guys do what you want and make your own opinions. And at the end of the day, that's what we're here to do, is create conversation with what's happening inside of this world. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy, and now you guys get the full interview. And also, if you want to get yourself a quality layering hoodie, I'll leave the link in the description and in the pinned comment down below. And now let's get into the full interview. Yeah, well, I guess we'll see what happens. Are you rolling?
Yep.
All right, let's do it.
My guy, thank you so much for making the time. I appreciate it. So how does it feel?
It's been an interesting few days. Past 72 hours. My video on the expose of the fraud in Minnesota is the most viewed video ever, longer than 10 minutes, other than Mr. Beast.
Can you say the fraud in Minnesota again, because you kind of stuttered?
Yeah. Wait, are there going to be cuts in this, or just going to be one take?
Which will make it perfect. So if we ask for to say it again, it's just to make sure you say it perfect.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, so my video on the fraud in Minnesota is the most viewed video ever by a creator, longer than 10 minutes, expose style, than anybody other than the name of Mr. Beast. They did over 135 million views in 72 hours on X. And altogether, it did around 500 million views generated across all platforms, with the clips and everything like that were spread by me, and people just started taking everything off the video, dissecting it.
Mm-hmm. Who do you think were the main people who signal boosted the video and brought it into that true viral orbit?
Well, obviously with X, the beautiful thing about X is you can then post on that platform, and there's not really a cap on the views that you can generate. Mm-hmm. For instance, on YouTube, your videos, it's very rare for a video to get above 1 million, and especially get past that 5 million view threshold. And then on X, you can start having people can interact and share with their followers. And so obviously the big ones were, you have Elon Musk who shared the video. Mm-hmm. You had quite literally every account. You had JD Vance, he shared the video. You had the Attorney General, but she actually didn't share it. She reacted to the video a few days later. Mm-hmm. So it was one of the first videos, like I can't name a single person really who didn't interact with that video, especially. I'd say literally, quite frankly, every account on X saw that video.
Mm-hmm. How does that make you feel, like gratification-wise, as an independent journalist?
Well, I think it's the first video you've seen in a long time where a journalist actually went and created a video that created a change instantaneously. For instance, you have the HHS, Health and Human Services. They froze all funding to child care inside of Minnesota. And then they're asking for businesses to prove that they are legit businesses before they give tax dollars to these businesses that are not really businesses.
Mm-hmm. So as far as that main center that you visited, what you have on your T-shirt, the Quality Learning Center, aka Quality Learning Center.
Yeah.
Like, was there ever any kids there in the first place?
No. So that daycare center, it's been operating fraudulently. It's actually had over 90 violations over the past few years. And the day that I went there at 11 a.m. Their operating hours are from 2 to 10 p.m. they're not saying. And that's actually not legal inside the state of Minnesota to be having those operating hours. So that's one sign. And the neighbors around it said they have not seen a child there for 8 years. And if you go on Google Maps right now, you can actually see the images of the daycare progress over the past few years. And starting in 2021, the door is boarded up from the image from Google Maps. So I think if you show that, it's actually pretty crazy to see. And then they move the building, and they open a door on the backside of the building as well, where they had a Quality Learning Center.
Yeah. So you said you went there at 11 o'clock in the morning?
Yes.
And their operating hours are between 2 and 10 p.m.?
Allegedly.
But if that is true, would it have made sense that you didn't see any kids there?
Yeah, it would have made sense if I didn't see children there. And the problem is they have no way to enroll a child. They also have no phone number that actually leads to anywhere. Mm-hmm. If you check there's nearly no reviews. Talk to any of the locals around the area. One man's been living there since 2017, hasn't seen a single child. Mm-hmm. And when I go and post my video on X, a lot of people were saying, well, Nick, you went during winter break. Well, actually, I went December 16th. School was still in session, so kids should still be going to daycare. And then the following days after the video then goes viral and gets over 100 million views, they have a person come out and he says, "No, we're open. I'm the manager. I'm the son of the owners. Mm-hmm. We're open." At that same time, simultaneously, the lady who's in charge of the Commissioner of Children of Minnesota says the daycare closed a week ago. Mm-hmm. So I filmed my video. Daycare is allegedly open. Then a few days later, the lady says that the daycare was closed, while that guy is outside telling people that the daycare is open. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just trying to I know there's definitely some kind of middle ground that people can relate to in general, because you have some people saying, you were there whenever there was no kids there. It's 11 o'clock in the morning.
Either way, whether I was there when kids were supposed to be there or not, why are all the windows boarded up, or why are all the windows blacked out? Why is there no phone number that leads to anywhere? Mm-hmm. These businesses are supposed to be operating to serve children. People should be able to check in their child there and their children into these daycares. It's literally impossible. Mm-hmm.
Did you see some of the footage released by CBS Minnesota affiliate station that showed kids entering and exiting the facility?
Yeah, the one on the ABC. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that one received over $1 million, licensed for 40 children. the CBS, I believe. They go in there after I post my video, and then they go in there after I post my video, and obviously they're gonna have children there when they're getting all this heat.
Mm-hmm. So you feel like there was no kids, and then the reports came out, and then after that they kind of did like a cabal, like pay off the news station type of deal to get kids in and out.
Not to pay off the news station, but to let the news station obviously alerted them that they were going to come and do that video, go interview them after the fact that I went to that daycare. And same thing at that daycare. Why are all the windows blacked out? Mm-hmm. This is a daycare. Why can't a lady just give me a paper to enroll a child?
Yeah. Well, I guess maybe I'm just trying to think from all perspectives and help you clear up some misconceptions.
Yeah.
I mean, I figure like if you're going with a camera and like 3 or 4 dudes, some of whom are like larger security looking guys, some had face gaiters on, maybe there's a fear that there's like something weird going on, or it just seems unfamiliar and they feel like they don't want to let you in.
Yeah, they might feel that fear, but if they're operating legally, why would they have anything to fear?
I mean, I don't know. It's just like maybe they have an obligation to keep the kids safe from external threats because, the parents give custody of their kids to an organization like that.
Yeah, they may feel that way. At the end of the day, they should be able to answer the question, okay, can I have some paperwork? How can I enroll a child? Mm-hmm. And there was no threat at all to these people.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like that learning center has had a serious history of violations.
Quality Learning Center, yes.
Yeah, going back to 2020.
Yeah, it's literally not a daycare.
But how could they have violations related to childcare if there was no kids there?
Yeah, the way they're operating inside of there, they had the violations. Those people are not able, they were operating fraudulently inside that daycare.
But fraud would mean there's no kids, but the violations relate to like poor safety conditions that put the kids in danger.
And so why would they be operating, and why would Minnesota continue to be giving them millions of dollars if they're receiving all these violations?
That seems like a really valid question.
Yeah.
Why do you think Minnesota would be giving a daycare center with so many violations so much money?
Well, that same man at Quality Learning Center who was saying that they were open after the commissioner was on the live stream saying they were closed a week ago was also partying with the mayor of Minneapolis.
Mm-hmm. So you feel like there's kind of like some nonprofit industrial complex type of deal happening?
For sure.
Mm-hmm. And the agenda is just for people to leech off the government and get free stuff?
People are 81% of the Somali population inside Minnesota is living off welfare. Mm-hmm. And 89% of the fraud being committed inside Minnesota is by the Somali population.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think the solution to something like that is?
Yeah, I think what you just saw with the HHS is an immediate solution. Mm-hmm. Go freeze the funding. Each business can then prove if they are legit, and if they can't, cut the funding. And so far, no business has sent any information to the HHS showing that they're legit as of today. Mm-hmm. They've had 3 days to do it. They haven't been able to prove it. Mm-hmm. They haven't even tried to make the effort to show that they're a legit business. Mm-hmm. And then another thing is, we as Americans, how should we feel comfortable knowing that there are daycares receiving millions of dollars while some families are paying upwards of $70,000 a year for their children to be going to daycare?
Right. And so you think the affordability issue in America connects directly to people who are on welfare and ripping off the government, taking away from that?
Well, these people are stealing from the government. How is it possible that 81% of a group of people are on welfare while they're receiving millions of dollars to these businesses? There's thousands of these daycares. There's thousands of these home health care businesses. There's thousands of transportation companies that are all receiving money from the government. And when you go in there, and there's a history of this, of women working inside these daycares and then men giving them cash. A lot of these women aren't actually on the tax records, as I have to say allegedly, but most of these women, they're not on tax records. That's why they're receiving welfare still. Mm-hmm. If they're receiving over $1 million a year for a daycare, that daycare should be able to pay that person a workable salary where they're not having to claim welfare.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever hear about the Amy Bach case?
The white lady?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's being over-highlighted by people who are trying to take away from your coverage?
No, I feel like it's fair. Fraud's fraud. This doesn't have to do with politics from the left or right. The whole issue is that fraud is fraud. So people need to take that out. And now you're seeing people get mad at me for exposing fraud. Mm-hmm. Are we all on the same page that we want America to succeed?
Well, I guess what I have seen, I want to give you the chance to clear this up too, is like, people have said, there's some people thanking you for bringing this story to a national audience, but there's also some people who say that on a local level, in Minnesota specifically, this has been reported on since 2020. Like if you look at the probe.
It's amazing.
But if you look at the probe that began in 2023, as far as like COVID era, scamming and different types of fraud. There's been over like 60 convictions and millions seized from the fraudsters who took the money away.
Yeah.
But you feel like the state hasn't done enough.
Well, Tim Walz has said they've been stopping to fight fraud since 2019. It's 2026. And they're still having millions of dollars being stolen, billions of dollars. How's that possible to have fraud, knowing you're having fraud? Tim Walz has openly known that they've been having fraud since 2019. How's he not stopped fraud? If someone's stealing $1 million from your bank account, how long will it take you to stop that?
Probably pretty quickly.
Pretty quickly. So I think what I did with my video is I have quite literally saved America millions of dollars, as these businesses are going to have to prove that they're legit businesses. So far, none of them can prove that they're a legit business.
Do you trust America and the government specifically to handle our taxpayer funds correctly and properly if they have access to more of them?
No, I don't think any of us should. I mean, just last year alone, over $120 billion were misplaced.
So you have a general distrust in the government?
No, I don't have a distrust necessarily in the government, but do I think we should trust the government 100%? No. It's kind of like having faith. Like, do you want to have faith in that God's real? Yes. But when we die, will we for certain know exactly where we're going? You kind of walk with faith in a way where you hope that the people that you elect are going to work for your best interest. Do you know for certainty that the best thing is happening inside the country? Or do you know for certainty that every single time you pay taxes, it's going to go to the place that needs it? No. But but on that case, do I feel certain that I know where I'm going to go when I die because of my faith? Yes. But does that mean that it's going to actually happen? Who knows until we pass the other side. So that's probably not the best comparison to compare religion with government in a way. But when you elect somebody, you hope they're working for your best interest.
How do you think Trump's doing so far this term?
So far this term, I think Trump's delivering, especially on crises like the border. I think that's been the major win of this election. Right now, you're not seeing illegal migrants coming to the country. Me and you both did videos at the border. We spoke with migrants. That was the most inhumane thing that I think America has seen in years, as far as letting people be trafficked into the United States and then bringing them into the system, making them rely on the government, not giving them working visas, putting them inside shelters, busing them all around the country. Families are separated. Thousands of children went missing. But the government was literally trafficking children into the United States, trafficking people, incentivizing them to leave their houses in Colombia, leave their house in Ecuador, and then come to the United States, and you're living in a shelter in New York City.
Yeah, it makes me think of our first meeting, which is kind of a crazy story. But just on a journalistic level, it's just been fascinating because whenever I came into, I guess, making independent reporting, like in 2019, 2020, there was never a single case of alternative media or citizen journalism ever reaching this level of exposure. So we're kind of entering a new era where reporting like yours has the capability of being signal boosted to be bigger than any mainstream news network.
Yeah, that's why you saw the mainstream media attack me instantaneously after I exposed $100 million in fraud. Why would they not go investigate the fraud? Why would they investigate the person who investigated the fraud?
Where does that $100 million figure come from specifically?
Yeah, so you had all the daycares, and then you also have, so with the daycares alone, I'd have to watch the video again because all the numbers are there. The daycares alone, you had millions of dollars in fraud, and then inside of the home healthcare businesses, they were warehouse-style buildings, industrialized buildings, where you had 14 of the same healthcare companies all working within the building, and they could not even give you a rate. We know how expensive healthcare is, and they're giving these companies millions of dollars. And the man David, who's in my video, he's the one who has the statistics and has the numbers on how much these businesses were operating. And between me and him, with the daycares, we had the CCAP funding numbers, and then we actually gave a very low estimate on the amount of money going into the home healthcare businesses.
How did you come into contact with David?
Yeah, David, he just messaged me on Instagram. And he said, Nick, I have the information about the fraud taking place here inside Minnesota. I've been looking into it for years. I have somebody from inside the Capitol who's given me the numbers of CCAP funding. I've been trying for years to expose this fraud. Nobody will listen to me. Please give me a call.
Has he shown you that data?
Yeah, that's what's inside the video. When you see the video and screenshots of the CCAP funding, for instance, Quality Learning Center receiving $1.9 million and has a capacity for 99 children. That's all straight from the capital of Minnesota.
So who is David's source?
David's source, he has somebody inside the capital.
And you don't know.
And that's public information as well.
Who is it?
Who is the person's name?
Yeah.
The lady's name, I did not work with her. However, the information that was provided to David was from, I can't tell you her name right now, but I could find it on X but she's also running, she's inside the government there inside Minnesota.
But you like fact checked all that and you looked it all up.
Yeah, David, all those numbers are straight from the Capitol.
Right, which I find interesting because, you know, even though it's always been seen as independent media and the state itself has to be totally separate, they, in a weird way, and in a kind of roundabout way, gave you the ammunition you needed to make this video through David.
No, not necessarily, because that information is public. You can go check the licensing on these, check the licensing and the funding is public. And nobody had done, you can ask that state representative for those numbers and they'll give them to you. So that's what David did.
Oh, so David's not a confidential whistleblower.
No, he's not a whistleblower.
People just weren't listening to David.
People weren't listening to David. He's not a whistleblower.
Yeah.
He's just a citizen that cares about Minnesota. And he's been doing this for years. Even going back to the Twins, he did stuff to fight to keep the Twins inside Minnesota. Like going way back.
The baseball team.
Yes, the baseball team. David did his own work to try and get the Twins to stay inside of Minnesota. Like, David's a local legend, and he like cares about that city so much. And he's seen what's happened to it as fraud's been taking place for years.
And it's really affected the city on that big of a level to the point where people like David are feeling it.
Yeah, because what they knew is Minnesota's not Minnesota anymore.
As far as immigration goes?
Immigration goes, fraud. I mean, they just released a new thing where they're giving people 20-week leaves for work leaves, and they've also raised property taxes. And meanwhile, you have billions of dollars, quite frankly, literally billions of dollars over the past few years going to fraud. Like it's not a hyperbole, it's fact.
Yeah.
The government has shown that upwards of $9 billion has gone to fraud.
And you mentioned that the mainstream media has kind of been attacking you since this video did its rounds. What are some of the things they've said? Like, what's their main point of attack?
Yeah, if you listen every single time they bring up Nick Shirley on these news sites or the internet or on their TV, they'll say right-wing YouTuber, MAGA YouTuber, conservative. It's never journalist Nick Shirley. It's right-wing journalist Nick Shirley.
Yeah.
MAGA influencer Nick Shirley.
Yeah, when I interviewed Hunter Biden, they did a RV YouTuber was the one they would use for all which actually sounds pretty cool. Like I'd want to be that, but I'm not that. And then like a liberal podcaster, and then in the Atlantic said Gen Z influencer. So
yeah, it's just like they're so mad that we have the opportunity, people like me and you, to upload a video and to get more views than them. Essentially, we're a threat to their entire industry. That's why they hate us. That's why they will never give us credit. And so when they see me doing what I'm doing, when they see me get more views than they will get onto their website for the whole entire year on one single video, yeah, it's going to make a lot of people mad.
Yeah, so going back to the first time we met, so what do you remember about that first interaction?
Well, I had just started making YouTube videos again, and I was all by myself. You were going to Amfest, so was I. I was going to interview people about what's happening here inside the country, and I thought I had no idea exactly what I was walking into. I just knew there was going to be a lot of people to interview about what was happening inside the country. I thought it was like it was called America Fest, so I had no idea what Turning Point was. I had no idea who Charlie Kirk was at that time, and it was funny because I'd watched you before on All Gas No Brakes, and you were always in that beige suit, just moving around and doing your videos, and so I was like stoked to see it, and it was great meeting you.
Yeah, I remember I first saw you and you were setting up a tripod and I was like, yo, what should I do? And you told me, you were like, you should go cover the border. And I told you, I was like, I want to go to Nogales to cover it. And you were like, no, you should go to Lukeville.
Yeah.
So you were the one who actually sent me in the right direction to do
Yeah, you actually said, hey, can I get that information? I'd love to do something with you. And I sent you the information and ghosted me right after.
And now look at me now, bro, crawling back home for some engagement.
Now you're coming back to me for some more views. After I gave you one of your best videos ever, and you didn't give me credit.
Well, now the whole world's going to know that there wouldn't have been a border video without my guy Nick right here.
It's the truth.
It's the truth. Was that, so you said you had just started making videos in 2023. Was that like, had you done interviews before that?
Yeah, so I had actually started, I've been doing YouTube since 2017 when I was a sophomore in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I started just wanting to have fun with my friends, and I started watching YouTubers, and I saw kind of like the lifestyle they lived, and I was like, oh, I'm fun, I like to have fun, I'm creative, I can be entertaining, I could do YouTube.
Yeah.
Like a lot of us think when we're in high school, like how many discussions have you had with your friends where you're just like, bro, that could be us.
Yeah.
Like that could be us making these YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, those memes of the kids are like,
Yeah.
dang, that could be us when they're watching like the streamers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I just thought like I could do YouTube. My older brother did YouTube. We grew up making videos. I have so many videos of me when I'm younger, when we're making videos with me and my brothers. And it wasn't anything new to me to just try to go and make stuff happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so at that time, just a 15-year-old just making YouTube videos, and then it's led to where it's at today.
Mm-hmm. Let's go back to the young Nick Shirley. Where'd you grow up?
Yeah, so I grew up, I was born here in Utah, and grew up just playing football, spending a lot of time with my family, friends, playing football, basketball, soccer, track, you name it. Sports was my entire life when I was younger.
Mm-hmm. True American life.
Yeah, true American life, going to church, getting decent grades, having fun, hanging out with friends, riding your bike around.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just had a good time when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
And just always hanging out with my older brothers. I was like, my thing was like, I just wanted to hang out with my brothers.
Mm-hmm. So you had a true American lifestyle. You said decent grades. What are we talking?
I think I had a 3.8.
Oh, that's pretty solid.
Yeah, I did really good actually in school.
And you said the church. What kind of church?
Yeah, so member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Is that the same thing as Mormons?
Yeah, but we don't call ourselves Mormons now.
What? Because of South Park?
No, it's just we're not Mormon. We don't follow Mormon. We follow Jesus Christ. So we actually want people to refer to us and know us as members of the Church of Jesus Christ.
Okay, from now on, if I ever encounter anyone in LDS, I'm going to call them that.
It's complicated. It's just I don't understand. I don't get offended if you call me a Mormon.
I'm not going to do it.
It's well, you can do it.
I'm not going to go around calling you a Mormon.
It's there's nothing wrong with it if I'm being honest.
No, totally.
But I think the church just wanted people to more so focus that we're just followers of Jesus Christ rather than people thinking we follow somebody named Mormon.
So Joseph, sorry.
I don't really want to get into the.
No, but I'm saying,
because
just real quick, is Joseph, so Joseph Smith is not a prophet,
no, he's a prophet.
in addition to Jesus.
Jesus is a savior.
Oh.
He's also a prophet,
Mhm.
but he's also our savior. He's your savior. He's my savior. He's everyone's savior.
Thank you.
He died for all of us.
For real?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Do you believe in Jesus?
Yeah, I mean, I do right now. I want to.
Yeah, you're saying that because you're talking to me.
No, I mean, I was baptized Catholic. I'm from an Irish Catholic family, but I didn't really grow up too religious.
Yeah.
But I hope it's true.
Yeah, that's why I kind of go back to my point. Like, do we know if it's true or not? Not until we pass the other side.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of just like walking with faith and hoping that things turn out for the best for us when we get to the other side.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think is the main thing people get wrong about LDS?
We're Christians. We're just people who love God and love Jesus. And yeah, we do follow higher standards than probably most other religions.
Mm-hmm.
And we do try our best to hold ourselves to those standards.
Mm-hmm. What are some of those standards?
For instance, no drinking, no smoking, no sex before marriage. No sex before marriage. Go to church on Sunday, follow the 10 Commandments. We follow the Bible. We follow the Bible.
One of your earliest videos that you now deleted was about some of those loopholes.
What loopholes? Oh, yes. About soaking.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of misconceptions on that's not right. Soaking's not right.
Is it real though?
I interviewed people at BYU and they might have said it was.
So you think it counts?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Well, that's good to know. In general,
But, yeah, the sex.
I agree with you. Totally.
Yeah, soaking's weird. Don't do it.
Yeah, and it definitely counts.
Have you ever done it?
No, I have gone all the way.
That's good.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it, you better.
Have you found someone that you think is a good fit for a wife, or are you waiting until God brings you one?
What do you mean? I'll just date like a normal person.
Oh, so you still go on dates?
Yes.
Nice.
Not weird, Andrew.
I don't know. You're the first person.
Like, I kind of understand, like,
No. You're just the first person in LDS that I've actually talked to for this long, who I didn't know was in LDS. Because I've only talked to people at Temple Square who were I thought they were normal. Friends of mine. They said, hey, what's up? Good to meet you. And then before I knew it, 5 minutes later, they were trying to get me in.
okay.
But I support it.
Cool.
And I'm not ever going to allow anyone to bash LDS ever.
Yeah, I wouldn't bash you for your beliefs. I'm actually one friend who was a Jehovah's Witness.
He's a Reformed Jehovah's Witness. He's a standard Christian now.
Yeah, so he was. That's what I said.
Yeah. When you were in high school, you said that no drinking, nothing like that. So you was that ever a temptation?
Yeah, I think everyone's tempted by it.
Mm-hmm.
But me myself, aside from the religion part, I actually shook my hand at my grandpa when I was 16, told him I'd never drink. Because I don't think anything good comes from it.
No, I actually think you made a good call.
Yeah, I think I did too.
Definitely.
I think that's my biggest advantage, that I don't really have many vices.
In terms of what?
I feel like I don't have the typical vices most young men probably might have, whether it be pornography, whether it be alcohol, whether it be cigarettes, whether it be vapes, whether it be nicotine. That stuff doesn't have me.
And you feel like living a clean life that way gives you like a journalistic superpower that allows laser focus so you can just become a content machine?
No.
It's kind of what you're doing.
Well, that's just who I am.
Yeah. But I mean, I feel like if you drank and partied and stuff, you might not be able to make as many videos.
Well, if I drank and partied, I wouldn't be able to show up to my job at McDonald's.
That's true, but I look at you'd probably be able to hold down a McDonald's shop if you had some.
But if you're referring to being on time and all that stuff, and
I'm talking about the sheer volume of content you've been able to produce over the past year.
I'm a highly functioning person.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Aside from the recent stuff, what pieces have you been most proud of since I last saw you at Turning Point USA?
I'd say my Brazil videos, those were very awesome. Going to the favelas, that was an experience that I can't even believe favelas are real after going there. That was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. 15-year-old men, 15-year-old boys walking around, full armed militias walking through the favelas of Brazil. That has to be the craziest thing I've ever seen. Drugs laid out on tables. It's literally just like the movie City of Gods.
It's that gnarly.
It's insane. Like, I cannot actually emphasize how crazy the favelas of Brazil are.
Also,
I plead with every YouTuber to never go make that video. Because I came this close to dying in the bottom of a destroyed house on the top of Rio's biggest favela.
When you say close to dying, like there was a gun in your face?
Yes. And if I didn't pay the man, I would have died.
You think so?
100%. That guy, after I interviewed him, he got beat up by the gang leader and kicked out of the favela for letting me interview him.
Some other unknown, or perhaps known by some, Nick Shirley lores that you met deceased rapper YBC Dole.
Yes, I did meet him.
Yeah.
It was Brandon Buckingham.
Yeah.
I had no idea who he was.
Well, you met one of what they call West Philly's top demon.
Really?
Yeah, so that was an equally, I would say, or similarly dangerous.
Yeah, no, I'd say the America hoods are about just as dangerous as the favelas. For instance, Chicago, you have armed militias walking around Chicago as well. Same within Philly. Think about how many young people are dying because of gang violence.
Yeah.
Like, I love your video you did in Baltimore about them kind of combating that and showing that like community really can make a difference and people really need to be looking out for one another because it's not worth dying for.
So going back to high school, right?
Yeah.
I remember you told me that after high school you went on.
My energy drink is like wearing off right now.
Okay, we got more. After high school,
I haven't been sleeping that much lately.
Yeah.
And just because of what's been happening, so my phone, I literally can't keep up with my messages. And so I haven't been sleeping that much.
Well, you're doing a great job.
Trying.
So you said that after high school you went on a mission trip, right?
Yeah.
Where to?
Chile, Santiago.
Is that where you developed fluent Spanish?
Yeah, I actually was fluent in Spanish when I was younger. When I was here in Utah, when I was growing up, I was in a Spanish immersion program from kindergarten to 4th grade. Spoke Spanish fluently, moved to Washington. Similar to you, moved up to Seattle area. I didn't practice my Spanish anymore, I lost it. Decided to go on this mission thing for our church. And they sent me to Chile, Santiago, and I learned Spanish again and speak it fluently now.
What's the purpose of a mission trip?
Yeah, you're there to go share the gospel, the restored gospel of Jesus Christ, and to teach people about Jesus and give them an opportunity to come into Christ. And if they want to follow the church, or if you just want to teach them about Jesus, that's all you're supposed to do, is teach them about the church, baptize them like missionaries did in the Bible, and do your best to serve the Lord and serve the people.
How many people were you able to get on board?
You say it funny. To get on board, I mean, all you're doing is you're teaching people about Jesus Christ, and you're teaching them about the restored gospel, and you're teaching them from the Bible, you're teaching them from the Book of Mormon. And just the fact that Jesus commands all of us to get baptized in the Bible, and also in the book that we also believe in, the Book of Mormon, that was translated by Joseph Smith. That's why we believe that this is the restored gospel. Now, I don't want to make this conversation about the church, but I think we have a lot bigger issues to talk about. But as a missionary, you just teach people about Jesus.
So you said bigger issues to talk about. What's one thing you really feel like we should talk about?
Well, I think we're here to talk about the fraud that's happening in Minnesota, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But we can also talk about whatever you want to talk about.
I'm just curious about your whole trajectory, man. It's kind of blowing my mind. Because
Yeah,
it was
I've had my life's been kind of crazy. I'm just 23, and we're here now.
So shortly after I saw you, the border coverage kind of ramped up. At what point did you start to really take political interviewing seriously, and why did you kind of dive into that realm?
Well, I think when I started seeing people get trafficked in the United States from the border and started seeing mass corruption inside the government, that's what I just couldn't believe that I met somebody at the border and she gives me her WhatsApp and the next day she texts me and she's in New York City. I was like, how is this happening? How are people just being trafficked around the country? How are little kids just coming over here? How's there a 15-year-old girl, or I think she was 17-year-old girl from the Dominican Republic, all by herself? How are people doing this, and how's the government enabling this to happen? I remember going to the border for the first time, and I saw migrants coming over the border. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Shouldn't they be running away? But no, they literally went to a camp and sat down and waited to get picked up to go and get put into the United States.
Wasn't Governor Abbott the one transporting people from the Texas border to New York City?
Yes.
So you feel like there was mismanagement of the border on an executive Biden level and a state level?
Yeah, and I think Governor Abbott, that was his way of saying F you to the to the sanctuary cities, and for the Democrats for just accepting and letting this happen, saying, okay, well, we're not going to deal with it. You guys go ahead and deal with it. And we'll give them bus to get out of our state or city. So
you feel like migrants kind of became political pawns for the two parties in America?
Yeah, well, we all know, obviously it was because they wanted votes. That was I believe that was one of the whole plans of what they were trying to do inside the United States, is to fill the swing states, fill the big cities, and we would have known, we would have seen what was going to happen. Thankfully, Trump won.
Yeah, I was going to say it didn't work.
No, it didn't work. And right now you're seeing how hard it is for Trump to go through the states, to go through with mass deportations, like you said. I think they're doing as good as a job, and they have given these migrants the option to go back. Because most of these migrants, they came here, they thought life would be good, and they end up getting put inside the shelter and became essentially slaves to the system in a way, where they're relying on the state to give them money, they're relying on the state for housing, they're relying on the state to give them a work permit to be able to work. That's not right.
Yeah.
That's pretty mean if you ask me. It's kind of messed up to just bring these people in, tell them we're going to take care of them, that they're going to have a better life here, and their life actually wasn't better.
Well, I suppose the reason they hopped the border in the first place, right, is because the immigration system is so backed up, right?
Well, they knew they could come in.
Yeah, but I mean the asylum application process, it's like a 4-year wait period, so they're exploiting that too.
Well, yeah, there's major issues with immigration here inside the United States, but you just can't walk into the country and think that you're going to be treated just like a law-abiding, tax-paying citizen.
Who was filming most of your stuff back then?
Me, myself, and then I also bring my mom with me. I bring anybody who can hold the camera for me.
Yeah, I just think it's cool because when I saw you on Hollywood Boulevard, your mom was helping you film.
Yeah, my mom helps me a lot. And when you saw me in Amethyst, I was filming myself. My first videos at the border, I filmed by myself. In the favelas of Brazil, my best friend's with me. Inside other places, inside of Secot and El Salvador, my older brother's with me. So I always just try to keep people who are close to me.
But you and your mom have a pretty close relationship.
Yeah, my mom's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, having a mom who's down to film stuff for you is great.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Definitely.
She's like a producer on the channel, kind of.
Yeah. Did she have any kind of career in content creation prior to you guys working together?
She actually went to school for journalism and to be a broadcaster.
Did she have a hand in your decision to really start taking things more seriously as far as political coverage?
No, actually, she didn't really believe in anything I thought politically. In high school, I got involved in politics, but as you know, during 2020, for instance, on my channel, I couldn't put Trump's name in a title or a thumbnail without the video being demonetized. And so there was no incentive to actually create political content that time, especially if you were a smaller creator, because you couldn't get the video to be seen by anybody. And so you couldn't really make those videos. And then when I did get back from that mission, I could then make videos on politics, and the censorship kind of got lifted because of Elon Musk buying X.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think people hate on Elon Musk, but they don't understand like what he actually did by buying X.
Yeah.
Because of him, you're actually able to post stuff on YouTube and not have to worry about being censored or worry about not being able to get the video monetized.
Yeah.
So if you can't get your video monetized, you can't make your videos.
Mm-hmm. I think people don't get to how severe the censorship of specifically like more conservative online accounts was back in 2020. And whenever I talk about, I guess, people who got radicalized super hard in like the QAnon way, a lot of that stuff was because they got kicked off on Facebook for being critical of the vaccine and whatnot. Then they end up on these even smaller platforms with other people who have been pushed off elsewhere, and then the echo chamber becomes smaller and they kind of lose touch with reality. So I feel like many people also not only got pushed off the deep end, but also regular people who were just having normal conservative opinions found their channels demonetized overnight. And that kind of distrust is what led to the acquisition of X, because now it's a place where anyone can say almost anything.
Yeah, and there should be a platform for us. Like, if we have freedom of speech, we should also be able to speak freely on the internet,
Mm-hmm.
right?
I totally agree with you.
And so I think what Elon did, I think what he did really did change the shape of our society.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you also saw other platforms like Rumble follow, Facebook, they lifted their censorship, YouTube lifted their censorship. So without Elon Musk, none of that would have been possible.
So you think that was like the first domino in a chain of different platforms lifting the veil of, not lifting the veil, but just like having more lax restrictions?
Yeah, 100%.
Mm-hmm. Was there a part of you, because I know that you're like a pretty fair and balanced guy when it comes to stuff, was there a part of you that was wondering why the Trump administration and various allies promoted your expose so hard when they did?
I think it hit the heart of every American being able to see that their money that they pay for taxes is going to fraud. And so it's something like people like to talk about how our money is going to other countries or how it's being used wrongfully, but people can't actually see it with their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the first videos ever where people could see that people were abusing the system and taking dollars from the United States citizens, and they're actually not operating the business.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, I'm just talking about if you look at Google Trends specifically, like the phrase Somali fraud was borderline non-existent. It just so happens to really kick up through your piece on December 16th.
Yeah.
Which is the exact same day that the Trump administration and Kash Patel released the redacted Epstein files list that by all people was seen as like a disaster with hundreds of pages of blacked out stuff. Was there a part of you that was curious if maybe there was people in the GOP who chose to signal boost your piece as wide and far as possible in a way to distract and move the goalpost away from that?
No, I don't think so, because I actually was planning on posting my video on December 24th, but I didn't get the video edited in time, so the video just happened to come out on December 26th.
But I'm saying the video was put together very well by you.
Yeah.
Like it's an engaging piece of content. Do you
I'm
think,
a YouTuber, so I know how to make YouTube videos.
But do you? I'm not saying that. I'm saying, do you think there's maybe they were like, okay, we can seize this as a moment to distract from this conversation?
I don't know. Like if that was their initiative, it probably worked pretty well. But I just posted my YouTube video, and that's the beautiful thing about the internet. You just post and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm not saying you had any level of coordination with that or anything like that.
Well, yeah, because I didn't.
Yeah.
I just posted my video. The video was originally supposed to go up on December 24th, but I didn't get it done in time.
Right, but the level that your video went out there,
Yeah, it did good.
I've never seen anything like that before.
Yeah, no one has. Like I said, it's the most viewed video ever by somebody who's not named Mr. Beast on a social media platform.
Mm-hmm. And for you as an independent creator, what do you want to do next? Like what comes to mind as something you want to do urgently?
Yeah, people think, because this video went so massive, I've been doing YouTube videos for the past 104 weeks. I haven't missed an upload. Every week I've been uploading video. To me, that was just going to be like another YouTube upload.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't know that it was going to be the most viewed video ever on X. I didn't ever expect. I think because I just got in a rhythm of uploading every single week,
Mm-hmm.
I was already planning on my next video. Like, where am I going to go next week? What's my that content going to be like?
Mm-hmm.
How am I going to be able to upload this video and enjoy the holidays and have that video for next week to be able to post on December 1st?
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it was just going to be a whole other video, and instead you've seen what happened since I've uploaded that video. It's literally the most viewed video on X, like a video expose.
What's a response that shocked you the most?
I think just the outpouring support from Americans. I mean, you're trying to say that it was some coordinated attack to move the needle on to get people's eyes away from Epstein. But the majority of the traffic, it has over 600,000. I think it has over 600,000 likes. I think over 100,000. I'd like to check that actually. How many retweets? So it wasn't just Elon Musk who was sharing the video. It was everyday Americans who were showing that video because they're sick. Just like how many are sick of, because they're sick of paying so much money in taxes, and to see 89% of the fraud happening by people who were brought into our country, some of them, and then committing fraud.
When you say brought in, what do you mean?
Yeah, we all know that a large portion of the Somali population was brought into Minnesota and brought into the United States. They then had their children, and for some reason, 89% of the population, 89% of the fraud happening in Minnesota is from the Somali population.
Right, but 95% of Somali Americans in Minnesota are legal.
Yeah, 89% of Somalians are committing fraud.
89% of Somalians are committing fraud? Like in a focus group of Somalians?
Oh, no, 89% of the fraud being committed in Minnesota is by Somalians.
So you feel like it's just like a cultural thing?
Yeah. Like, what are they known for?
Africans?
No, Somalians.
When I think of scammers, I think of Nigerians.
But I asked you, what are Somalians known for?
Well,
Say the thing that's on top of your head.
Captain Phillips.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm also an American who doesn't know any Somalis. Well, actually, I grew up with a few in Seattle, but I'm not like very in tune with the culture.
Yeah, and so why is 89% of the fraud happening inside Minnesota by Somalians?
So maybe it's just like a hustle that someone will tell their cousin about or brother, and it just spreads like that.
Yeah, and why have apartment complexes in locations inside of Minnesota? White people have been pushed out.
White people?
Yes. Inside these apartment complexes, you will not find a white person living inside of Cedar Riverside, for instance.
Where'd they go?
They got pushed out.
Like to low-income areas?
They got pushed out. I don't know where they went, but they're not there.
Mhm.
Yeah. The Cedar Riverside was originally housing for the College of Minnesota.
Mhm.
There's a bar there called Palmer's Bar. It's a staple for, it used to be a staple for Minnesota. However, the Somalians inside of Cedar Riverside made complaints that Palmer's Bar was too loud. And we know who's the governor. We know what kind of politics is inside of Minnesota. They're too afraid, and they literally changed their state flag to be more like the Somalian state flag.
Well, I read that there was a contest that people voted on where there was like 150 different submissions, and one of them was the North Star flag that ended up winning the competition.
Have you look at the flag? What does it look similar to, like, Andrew?
I mean, it does look kind of like the Somali flag.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, people
It's
didn't.
like,
But it was like
are
a
you
voting
afraid? Are you
contest.
afraid to say, like, the fact of it, that it looks very similar to the Somalian flag?
No, I'll say it. It looks similar to the Somali flag.
Yeah, it looks just like it. It looks very similar to this flag in Minnesota. Tim Walz said their other flag was racist,
Mhm.
and he called people like me white supremacists for talking out against the fraud that's happening inside of his state. He's been talking about fraud since 2019,
Mhm.
and he's actively saying that they're trying to combat fraud. How long would it take for you or any person to realize that $1 million is being taken out of their bank account?
Mhm.
You'd find that instantaneously.
How do you feel about the way the, I guess, liberal side of the mainstream media has characterized the reporting?
They're defending fraud. I'm showing people what's happening. I showed it exactly how it is as it is.
Mhm.
And then now they're defending fraud. Even if one of these businesses is operating, why should any American be happy or be satisfied with daycares ran by all Somalians to be receiving millions of dollars? And out of that population of Minnesota, I believe it's around 8.5, I think it's like 5.8 million. You have not seen one single Minnesotan say that their child was inside those daycares.
I've seen a couple interviews with people who are saying their child was in the
And who are they?
Somalis.
Yes. Why, if they're having these daycares, why isn't any other white people, black people, Mexicans, Asians, why aren't they saying, oh, these aren't fraudulent daycares?
Wasn't it a predominantly Somali area?
Why are all of the daycares inside of Minneapolis? There's white people, there's Mexican, there's Asians, there's everybody inside Minnesota, in Minneapolis. How come no other person has said, no, this daycare is legit, here's my child?
Well, because I think that those daycare centers are in a Somali neighborhood.
No, they're not.
those daycare centers are in white neighborhoods?
Quality Learning Center is a few blocks away from the arena of Minnesota Timberwolves.
So you feel like all the daycares in the city?
The other one, what's called the one that received $3.45 million is 1 block away from where George Floyd happened. They're not just Somali neighborhoods, Andrew. They're everywhere inside Minnesota.
So the Somali population has a monopoly on all the daycares, like in general? Like they're the
Go drive around Minnesota, go drive around Minneapolis, you will see an excessive amount of daycares. There's no need to have 3 daycares within 1 block. There's 2 daycares inside of 1 location, 1 building, each receiving separate money from the government. The 1 daycare alone received upwards of 2 daycares that are inside the same building at the same address receives $3 million. Right behind it's another daycare that received $1 million. Would you like to be paying and working super hard as an American citizen, making $60,000 a year, and meanwhile somebody's operating a daycare for $1 million, completely tax-free, while you're paying somebody to go watch your kid while you're trying to make a living? Would you like that to be happening? We don't have kids, and neither of us do.
Right.
Theoretically, say we're a struggling American. We're making $60,000 a year. We have to go pay to put our kid in a daycare. Meanwhile, there's a bunch of people making millions of dollars committing fraud, and there's actually no kids, and the windows are completely blocked out.
I mean, I'm not going to...
And when you call a phone number, guess whose phone number it leads to? The office of Tim Waltz.
Yeah, I see that. I definitely see the frustration. I mean, I feel like most of our tax dollars are spent pretty much irresponsibly, funding,
Yes, 100%.
funding foreign wars and stuff like that. I'm not sure what percentage.
And
of
how
that
are
is
people
going to
defending
daycares.
fraud? I don't support our money going overseas to Israel either. I don't support our money funding Ukraine. But what I can actually see with my own eyes is the money coming here inside the United States that's being spent fraudulently.
Yeah.
We can't see what's happening from here to Ukraine. We can't see what's happening from here to Israel. But we can see what's happening inside our own states.
Yeah. So I just think it's about scale and figures as well, right? Like I see that $1 billion figure, right? Where did that come from?
$1 billion? It's actually $9 billion.
$9 billion.
Well, they received over $16 billion, and it's estimated that $9 billion of it was used fraudulently.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to be super clear about the data because I don't want to.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah. So the $9 billion number comes from federal prosecutor Joe Thompson on December 18th, 8 days before your video dropped, which is about fraud related to 14 Medicaid programs like housing, autism services, and most importantly, a nonprofit called Feeding Our Future. The Feeding Our Future scandal is one that centers Amy Bach, who's responsible for engineering a crazy scheme, but that's different than the daycare program specifically. It says
And a lot of the daycares inside my video, I didn't know this when I was filming it, a lot of them actually were part of that fraud, of the Feeding Our Future fraud.
How do you know?
It's came out since.
So $306 million last year went to ongoing fraud investigations related to all of these things.
Cool, great.
I'm saying, do we know what percentage of that number went specifically to daycares?
What's the question again?
Of the $9 billion figure, because there was 2 main figures.
Well, that $9 billion figure, that's over a course of a few years. That's not just last year alone.
Okay.
That'd be pretty crazy if it was just last year.
Yeah.
But people have known about this. This fraud isn't. People are acting like I'm acting like I knew exposed fraud happening. No, everyone knows that fraud's been happening. There's reports since 2015 of fraud happening.
Yeah. One tweet in particular that I wanted to give you the chance to clear up is so a couple days ago, Minnesota State Representative Lisa DeMuth said that her Republican caucus had been, quote, working with you ahead of your coverage. How do you respond to that?
Yeah, I had no idea who she was.
So you feel like she's just clout chasing?
Yeah, that's what I literally put in the reply in the tweet.
Yeah.
So her campaign freaked out when I tweeted that.
Yeah.
But what I was referring to, that's the lady who I was referring to earlier in this interview. So her staff was the people that David had received the information from, because David reached out, and she worked inside the government, so she did actually a good job by doing what she's supposed to do by serving the people and giving that information.
Yeah, it says that Harry Niska, a Republican representative who's a staffer for her, was the one who gave the intel to David.
Yeah, that probably sounds about right.
Yeah, so...
But she said she was involved in the video. The way she said it, I was completely caught off guard, because I don't even know who she was. When I saw her face, I was like, who is this lady? And so right now they're running for governor inside Minnesota as well. And so a lot of people have tried to use my name to try and get people to vote for them, because they're seeing how much attention I've garnished on the internet.
Yeah.
And so I was like, no, ma'am, that's not true. I have no idea who you are.
Well, yeah, because that makes me happy. Because when I first saw the video come out, I was like pretty stoked for you. I was like, oh my god, Nick put this video out. Like, this is doing crazy numbers. And then I saw her tweet that, and I was like, is this whole thing a psyop?
Yeah, I was very taken off guard too. I literally commented and I did like shame on her for saying that.
Yeah.
That'd be like me like saying, well, it's kind of like you going to the border and getting all the information from me and then not giving me credit.
Mm-hmm.
But so similar in that way, where she actually didn't she said she was involved in my video, but she actually wasn't. I didn't even know who she was.
Mm-hmm.
But but good on her for actually caring about fraud. She's not defending fraud openly like Tim Walz is. So if I was somebody, I would vote for anybody but Tim Walz inside that state of Minnesota.
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad you cleared that up because it's like the same reason that people lost trust in traditional media because they felt like there was no barrier between the establishment and corporate news pundits, and they felt like CNN was an arm of the Democratic Party and then Fox was an arm of the conservative wing. So the fear now that I've thought about before, and I'm not saying this is happening, will probably take like 5 to 10 years, is that somehow the political powers that be figure out how to use the independent creator economy like on a sleeper cell level to do their bidding for them.
Yeah, that could happen.
Mm-hmm. Like with influencer contracts and stuff like that.
Yeah, you saw the DNC do that. All the people that I got talking against me, a lot of them have cut checks from the DNC.
Mm-hmm. Through like a paid influencer program?
Yeah, and it's public.
Would you ever agree to something like that?
No, never.
Hell yeah.
Like I don't need it. I make enough money doing my videos off YouTube, and the people that support me, like why would I ever turn against their best interest?
Yeah, that's a pretty
similar to how you have your Patreon.
Yeah.
Why would you, if you're making $10,000 and you're able to live your lifestyle and create your videos making $10,000, and you have the 100% trust of your audience, why would you then take $2,000 to lose the trust of your audience?
Well, I guess the one thing they could do is like buy the platforms themselves, figure out how to put a stake in Patreon and kind of compromise these platforms that we use to get financial freedom.
Wait, say it again?
Like pretty much so like you and me having Patreon and merch and stuff like that makes it so we don't have to, take paychecks and let people influence what we do.
Yeah.
But if these platforms themselves got compromised in some way, like if a major political party invested in something like Patreon and then they changed or modified their terms of service for some reason, we would have to go to independent websites.
Yeah. So like that's the beautiful thing about YouTube is they give you a platform where you can then create your video, and based off the value you give to the audience, and based off of how, and then based off your videos, you're able to make money.
Mm-hmm. So you feel like...
So I think it's super funny when people come after me, like, and you'll see in my new part 2 video, some guys say, how do you make your money? Are you making money off this? Well, yeah, I'm posting a video on YouTube. How do you think I'm able to provide for myself?
Mm-hmm.
Like doing what we do is not cheap by any means. We're actually risking a lot, but at the same time, we're providing a service to millions of people. People don't understand that.
What do you think is the biggest thing you risk doing this type of work?
Right now, people dox me with death threats. I have 24/7 security right now because of how crazy people are mad at me for exposing fraud.
Mm-hmm. What are some of these death threats? Like, what do they say?
One person sent me a photo. You can grab it from my ex and put it on the screen. Put it on. He said, "This is going to be you on April 27th." And it's a photo of it. He said, "This is going to be you on April 27th on the side of the highway." And it was a photo of a man with his head decapitated in a trench.
Mm-hmm.
Another person openly said, "TikTok, TikTok, Nick's sure the time's coming." He posted that. He also was, he looked like a PDF. He looked like a creep.
Like he physically had PDF features, like a mustache and like a beard. Like,
yeah, why do you think that's a PDF?
just from Chris Hansen videos.
Yeah, so he looked exactly like that. He also had photos of him in like gay orgies and stuff like that too.
Gay orgies.
Yeah, those were like openly on his pages. So.
And how do you feel getting messages like that?
It's not the best feeling in the world, but opposition comes.
Is it the first time something like this has happened to you?
No, I've gotten death threats before.
Mm-hmm. So are you used to it, or is this time in particular is it like obviously a more magnified scale?
Well, dude, my video just got 100 million views,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been amplified by all the large political figures in the United States right now.
Mm-hmm. What in particular do they say as like the reason for threatening you? Do they give you a reason?
They're mad at me for exposing fraud.
Mm-hmm. Well, you got to think of the mind of someone who would get mad about that, right?
The fraudsters complaining the loudest.
Yeah.
Why are Democrats calling me a white supremacist for talking against fraud?
Probably, I mean, if you're asking me why I think they're doing that, probably because
there's Somalians who commit 89% of the fraud.
Well, just because the investigation that you're doing is focused on the Somali community, probably like
89% of the population, or 89% of the fraud being committed in Minnesota is by Somalians.
And just so we can put that on screen to verify, do you know where that data is from?
Yes, you can put it up on screen. It's public information.
Yeah, I think fraud's bad. We should crack down on it.
Yeah, I don't know why you're like act like I'm not just stating the fact that you.
No, I'm not acting like you're not doing anything. I'm just saying like I want to give you the chance to address people online or whatever who might be thinking that this isn't legit or that you're just doing this to advance the Trump administration. Yeah. I'm saying I will put it on screen.
Good.
Because fraud's a major issue, and obviously
you should put it on screen.
I will for sure, dude. I promise you.
I'm not just joking.
Yeah, no, but it's like I think the fraud issue is major. The daycare facilities are being run terribly throughout many locations in Minnesota.
And now you're seeing all across the U.S. People are going to these daycares in Washington, in your state.
Mm-hmm.
There's houses in neighborhoods that are licensed for daycares receiving millions of dollars. What's the point of that?
Mm-hmm. Oh, how's your experience meeting Trump?
I've never actually met him.
But you were at the White House roundtable, right?
Yeah, I've never formally just hey, Mr. Trump, how's it going?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they brought me in to speak about what I had experienced in it with Antifa in Portland.
Mm-hmm. That's probably another example of you receiving real life hostile aggression just outside of
Literally, somebody said they were going to kill me outside in Antifa protest, and then you even made a video saying that I was a right wing conservatives are pushing some narrative. Meanwhile, a guy literally threatened to kill me.
I'm talking about in Portland in general.
Yeah, in Portland, the guy threatened to kill me.
Well, I mean, that specific situation is a content event for everybody involved. You have leftist protesters going there to make a scene and make content for themselves, going to confront people they know will be there. Then you have conservative content creators going because Antifa's there. So it becomes this tiny little content ecosystem where everyone's eating as far as engagement and content goes, and nothing really changes or happens.
Yeah, and if you watch my video, I interview Antifa, I interview locals, I interview people, and for some reason that gets labeled as the right wing.
Antifa is there to confront conservative-leaning content creators. That's kind of one of the main reasons. So it's a mix of both people walking into the bee's nest of their political opposition in their mind.
Yeah, and me as a journalist, I don't consider myself a conservative journalist. I'm a journalist. So similar, you went there, you made a video as well. You're not in there with going selfie mode, talking to people while people are getting arrested or while stuff's going on. I'm in there talking to people in the heat of the moment when stuff's going down. Mm-hmm. And that makes me a conservative.
I mean, you told me you're conservative.
Yeah, but why does it make me a conservative journalist? My ideas belong. After everything I've seen, how could anybody side with the left?
Mm-hmm.
They've trafficked children inside the United States.
What do you mean? You're talking about enabling the cartel to do what they do?
Enabling the cartel to do what they're doing. They're defending fraud currently at the moment. They've made illegal immigration a controversial issue. The word is illegal. Mm-hmm. You call people like me Nazis and fascists. You kill people like Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
They've warped the mind of so many individuals into stuff that's just pure common sense. To the fact where people are dying. I have 24/7 security with me right now because people think me exposing fraud is bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think the left is also a spectrum, right? You have the labor left, unions, and people who are concerned with fair wages.
You have the John Fettermans who make common sense, yet he gets attacked by his own constituents for having common sense.
Yeah, but when I think of the left, I think of labor unions and more kind of boots on the ground movements like that. Not so much necessarily identity pilled leftists who are the kind of people who be threatening you.
Yeah, well, every violent attack that I have experience has been from the left.
Yeah. And is that something that has kind of deepened your perception of the left as being super crazy and messed up?
Yeah, I just think everything they say they're the party of peace, party of acceptance. Meanwhile, they call people like me fascists and Nazis. Fascists and Nazis.
Well, I guess the left probably has more social acceptance, right? Of different.
They say they do.
Well, I mean, I'm just
but they wouldn't accept me.
Yeah.
They've called me Nazis and they call me a Nazi and a fascist. Mm-hmm. They say I'm going to be curbed.
Mm-hmm. But I just mean general acceptance of gay people and alternative lifestyles. Probably the more liberal cities have more of that.
I've met plenty of gay people that are other events where conservatives are at. I've met them at Amfest. There's a lot of gay people who are also conservative.
No, totally. I just mean like.
And so I would actually say that the right is more accepting than the left.
Well, there's no
They're
gay
gonna
marriage in
treat
red
people-
states.
Where can a gay person not get married in the United
Most
States?
red states.
Here in Utah, you can get married. Where else? Where can you not get married in the United States?
I could be wrong. Did they legalize gay marriage across the country?
Are you serious?
I could be wrong. Fact check by Nick. If that's, I don't think they did. I'm pretty sure you can't get married to a man in many different states, still mostly conservative states.
No, you can get married everywhere. Someone fact checked us.
We'll put that on screen too.
Yeah, do it because I think that's like the whole thing Obama did when everyone making out in front of all the state capitals.
Mm-hmm. I'm saying, I've seen videos of, I guess you going to different rallies here in New York and stuff, and it
They attack me.
seems like they pretty viciously run up to you and try
People
to.
have sexually assaulted me.
They come up to you and they yell at you and you get attacked. Do you feel like, and the whole time I'm watching this, it's very disappointing for me to see, because I feel like I've met you enough in person to know that you're very calm and you handle those situations pretty well. And it's just, they're kind of like playing into the stereotype of exactly what they're claiming others to be.
Yeah, they called me a fascist. Meanwhile, they won't let me speak.
Mm-hmm.
They said, one lady, she came up to me, she took her shirt off, started jumping all over me, and she said, "Say Black Lives Matter. Say Black Lives Matter."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "All lives matter." She said, "Get out of here, white boy."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, remember that.
You believe that all lives matter?
Yeah, of course, man.
Do you think it's racist to say all lives matter?
No, but I mean, if you...
What?
No, I'm saying if someone's saying, if it's a Black Lives Matter movement protest.
It wasn't a Black Lives Movement protest.
Oh, just regular? No.
They were outside the UN.
Yeah, all lives matter, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
Like,
that
it's not a controversial take.
No, but
But they've made it controversial.
yeah.
Like, what they're saying does not make sense.
Well, I think it was probably, it hits a little different now than it did back in the middle of 2020.
But even then, all lives matter.
Yeah.
That should not be a hot take.
Yeah, but the conversation was specifically about like police brutality in black communities.
Okay, cool. All lives matter still.
Yeah, I agree. But I'm saying when you're yelling that at someone who's saying Black Lives Matter, it's kind of like it comes off like you're trying to delegitimize what they're saying.
No, I'm trying to say that all lives matter. Your life matters just as much as my life matters.
Yes.
You're the one who's making it, not you, but I'm saying that they're the one making it political.
I see where you're coming from.
Like, I just can't fathom how people can side with people who have gone so far left to the point where they call people like me a fascist or Nazi, or they think the take all lives matter is controversial, or they think that when somebody gets deported when they've been here illegally is a controversial take.
Yeah.
They're here illegally.
What are some of the conservative figures nowadays that you feel like represent how you feel?
Honestly, I don't feel like there's that many. I feel like you're seeing such a divide with people where even like I don't even watch that many conservatives. Like, I don't watch conservative content on YouTube because I don't want people to influence how I portray my videos and how I think.
Yeah. What do you think about Nick Fuentes?
I think Nick Fuentes like serves his purpose. He makes you double question things. I think that's good.
Mm-hmm. Did you see what he posted about the daycare stuff?
What did he say?
He was just like, why would anybody care about what's going on at the daycares? Like there's a war going on in Israel and Iran.
Cool, but I also talked to Nick Fuentes today actually, because
Mm-hmm.
I was asked, because all the people are telling me about security issues, and I'm like, well, what do I do? Like, all these older people are telling me I need to get security and everything. I was like, well, who's somebody that's actually living it,
Mm-hmm.
who's actually been attacked and has these death threats? So I called Nick Fuentes, and I asked him, what should I do about security?
Mm-hmm.
And me and him were able to have a great conversation.
It's good to hear.
And I think he serves his purpose as far as making people double question things. And do I think he goes pretty extreme on some topics? Yes, and he would even admit to that too. And he knows, like, he's what makes Nick Fuentes so powerful is he's also like a comedian.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I think he serves his purpose as far as making people double question things. And I think we should question things as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I hope people don't take my word for verbatim. I hope news like CNN doesn't just come and make phone calls to 7 daycares and one of them answer, and they ask them, is this a fraudulent business? And they say yes. I hope they don't take them for random. I hope they actually go to the daycare and see what's happening.
Yeah, definitely. And I hope that people watch this interview and they understand that there very likely is a problem with fraud.
Yeah, I think there's a major issue with fraud here in the United States. Like, think of, like, when we talk about wanting to have healthcare for better healthcare systems, Tim Walt's talking about better healthcare systems inside his state and about premiums. And, well, maybe if you cut out some of the fraud, people would have better premiums. Maybe people property taxes wouldn't get raised.
Yeah, 2020 was the real year that fraud really kicked into high gear.
With the pandemic.
Yeah, some people called it the pandemic for a long time. Because
Yeah.
people were able to get such like insane amounts of money.
And think about how did someone like Elon Omar she had literally a negative net worth, and now it's allegedly up to $30 million.
Mm-hmm.
And she has not said a word. She hasn't made one single post since my post.
Mm-hmm.
She's complicit in the fraud. Her and Tim Waltz are both. Tim Waltz is actually blaming the fraud on Trump. Meanwhile, he's the one who's saying he's been fighting it since 2019.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of making money, and I'm team journalists should be allowed to make money.
Yeah.
How do you feel like, is there a line that you have to walk as an independent journalist when you market yourself with like merchandise and sponsorships?
No, I think everyone should go by this quality living.
Yeah. How's that going so far?
People are loving it.
Mm-hmm. I heard you also made a coin of some kind.
I didn't make a coin. I just joined a platform where you can monetize your content, and it is a coin. You can then monetize your content, just similar to like how you upload on TikTok. You can upload your stuff on there. It's just based off Coinbase. Coinbase has their separate app they're actually creating. It's actually very cool. You should use it because you're actually able to monetize your content and make money from it.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And has that coin like had a successful run?
Yeah, it's been good, and it's been amazing because now my life has completely changed. I've had to look for other ways to make money. And so when a company like Coinbase gives you the opportunity to go onto a platform where not that many people are using it, you can be one of the first people to then use it and monetize your content. It's amazing.
Yeah. We were talking about it earlier on that particular platform because we've debated for a long time.
Like, you should get on that
No,
platform.
we've debated for super long if we want to go into
it's not a meme coin.
So it's called Zora, right?
Zora. It's not like a meme coin. It's literally, I don't even know what you call it. I'm still confused on how I'm making money from it.
Yeah.
But it's based off of Coinbase.
What's the current value of it?
I think today it had a big market cap.
Like how high are we talking?
I think it hit like $11 million market cap.
So you owned an $11 million token?
No. I literally don't know how it works. Like, I literally started uploading and started making money, and I said, great, because I'm going to need it because security's not cheap. Like, my life has changed dramatically since this video. I'm the most viewed person on the internet. People are threatening me. They're doxing me. They're doxing my family. Yeah. Like, selling these t-shirts, Quality Learning Center, yeah, it's going to be able to help me be able to live a safe life.
But if your Zora token is worth $11 million, does that mean you could cash out for $11 million right now?
No. I think I get, like, you're vested into it for 5 years.
Okay.
And so you just can't, like, you can't rug pull it.
Okay, cool.
Like, I can't even, I don't have access to, I literally do not know how it works. It's like the weirdest thing. I just started posting on it. Literally Coinbase, I saw that you could post on Coinbase, like one of their platforms, and you just make money.
Yeah, I was on the 1 yard line of doing a coin myself, but then Hawk to a coin came out.
But it's not a crypto. It's not like, I don't even know how to describe it because, like, it's a coin, but it's not. It's dope. I don't know how to say it. Like, it's just fun. Like you're able to upload your videos and people can pretty much buy. Like, it's kind of like I literally don't know how it works. So like, I think it's kind of like an NFT where people can buy a piece of the content and feel like they're invested into you, and I think you get like 1% of the transaction that goes through.
But going to CCOP, how did you end up down there?
Yeah, so on the topic of immigration, I was doing these videos and I was seeing these cartels these caravans come through, and I was like, well, I'm gonna join one of the I'm gonna join the caravan. Like, I'm gonna join in their journey. So I was looking at the map and I thought El Salvador would be like a perfect section point to go join a caravan.
Yeah.
It was kind of a crazy idea to go join a caravan.
No, that's a sick idea.
At that point in time, I wanted to see what's happening with the immigration. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to go to El Salvador. I'm going to go speak to people. I'm going to find caravan. I'm gonna go from El Salvador to Mexico and make it all the way to the United States. I get to El Salvador and they're like, no, we don't have any migrants here. We just actually put all our gangs in the prison. Like, we're thriving as a country. And so I made a whole video about how one country, I had to change my plan to make a video about how one country actually solved migration to the point where they're actually having people come back to their country versus leaving. And that was because they locked up the gangs. And so when I was in El Salvador, I didn't even have a big following at the time. I didn't have 100,000 subscribers. I messaged somebody I had booked to be like my guide there. He knew one of the local mayors. And so I met with the local mayor, I interviewed him in my video, and then I was like, how do I get into psychot? Because I hadn't seen anybody inside of it, but I knew that what it was. And I just kept being super persistent. Like, I DM like any account that had anything to do with El Salvador, saying, I want to go film in El Salvador, I speak fluent Spanish, I want to go to psychot. And I finally got a response like, it's not open to public, try again in a few weeks. And that went on for about 6 months.
And you finally got up in there.
Yeah, I'm still the only American to ever own, and you actually asked for the contact, but I couldn't give it to you.
Yeah, you know what I was thinking about, man? Is like, on that note, what is something like, just because we've known each other for like a year and a half, 2 years now.
Yeah, 2 years now, actually.
How do you think I could like build more credibility on like the more conservative side of the aisle as far as interviews go? Like, as far as like a foot in the door.
Don't be afraid to say what are Somalians known for.
Yeah.
When you know the answer inside your head, but you're too afraid to say it.
Well, I just don't know if it's based in a stereotype or if it's.
Well, what are they known for?
I don't know. I'm not.
You know what they're known for. You said it. Pirates.
Yeah,
Captain Phillips.
That's because of the Captain Phillips movie. I mean, there's plenty of. I'm not trying to. I'm just saying.
But so you're scared.
I'm not scared. I just want to.
No,
I have to
were
go
scared,
and talk to them. I don't want to go out and say things about people if I don't know the community. I can't just be like, oh, what are they known for? Captain Phillips, because I have to meet these people. I gotta go to the restaurants.
But I asked you the question. What are they known for? And I knew you knew what they were.
Because Hollywood promoted Captain Phillips. I mean, what are we known for in Somalia? I don't know. Cheeseburgers.
So why did you question your thought?
Because I'm thinking I need to learn more. I'm not just going to go out and say I am the captain now. Clearly, but that's not connected to fraud.
I'm the captain now.
Yeah, it's not connected to fraud specifically.
But you knew the answer.
Yeah, but I'm not that smart.
But so you're asking how do you gain credibility and trust? Well, you say a fact for a fact.
And the fact is that the first thing I think of when I think of Somalia is
and the fact is where Somalia's known for pirating.
Well, that's in Somalia. There's no pirates in America.
Who's stealing all the money?
It's not the same as a pirate.
That is piracy.
Digital. Oh wow.
That's
Have you thought? Did you think about that before?
Well, what are they known for?
Yeah, I know, but I mean,
and 89% of the fraud happening in Minnesota is from Somalians.
Okay.
And that is a fact.
Well, pivoting back to my first question.
So how do you gain more trust? Well, don't be afraid to say a fact or an opinion.
Even if I know that I'm dumb.
Yes. If it's a fact.
So if I'm on 60 Minutes and someone goes, Somalia, and I do word association, and I go, Captain Phillips, that's going to get me with Don Jr.
No.
Over time.
No. My videos, I'll talk to everybody. I try to talk with the crazy liberal who's yelling, I'm an ICE agent. I talked to the local who's lived there for 8 years, who's never seen a child go inside that daycare center.
Okay, so you see what I'm getting at, right?
Like, so you now, on your channel, you're now having other people go out and make the content, maybe because you feel like it's kind of dangerous, but you're building up Channel 5, which I have a lot of respect for.
Yeah.
But then you come after me for being a right-wing YouTuber in an Antifa video.
Well,
no,
you were
listen, I'm in the
conservative
first clip of your Antifa video in Portland. You're mentioning multiple times in that video, saying I'm a right-wing YouTuber. No, when in reality, I'm speaking with the Antifa member. I'm speaking with the man who's dressed up like a clown. I'm trying to speak with the DHS officers.
Well, you told me you're conservative.
I am a conservative.
So why is it crazy to call you a conservative?
You can call me conservative, but that doesn't. That's like.
It's not a bad thing to be.
No, it's not a bad thing, but you're trying to use it to But I'm not saying you are. But people use that to try and discredit me. If you listen to CNN, they say MAGA influencer.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
They're saying YouTuber. They're like, oh, high school prankster. I was 15. What do you think I was going to do?
Yeah.
Do you think I was making political content?
Yeah. But going back to what I was saying is, you just mentioned that when you try to interview like liberals, they yell at you, they call you an ICE agent. So you have a almost similar problem to me, which is where now, because of how you've been branded or the kind of content you made, it's harder for you to talk to left-wing people. Whereas for me, it's the reverse,
It's
and I have
not
a hard
harder
time.
for me. They treat me like a Nazi.
You have less access. That's just how it is. And now
I have equal access, and I give them the same opportunity I'd give to any other person.
if you emailed a Democratic staffer or like a representative, they probably wouldn't talk to you because they would look at your coverage. Now, I'm in the opposite position where I'm trying to figure out who I can talk to, who I can sit down with over time that will build more credibility.
And I'd argue that a Republican, or if you wanted to get into the press pool at the White House, they would give you that same option just like they'd give me.
Yeah, but before that, I want to just do some more fair and balanced interviews.
Yeah, I think you should get back to what you originally started doing by going to the place and speaking with the migrant that's coming across the border,
Yep.
speaking with the Border Patrol agent. But now, you're out here almost like defending Hunter Biden, who has all this crazy stuff on laptops. And you're like painting him like he's a good person.
Well, I'm not painting him like a good person. The child thing got debunked a long time ago. I gave him the chance to talk about.
And I respect.
his
I'd
crimes.
also interview Hunter Biden.
Yeah.
But I felt like, I felt like you, by not saying anything about the death of Charlie Kirk as well. I thought that was pretty messed up.
I interviewed the first guy who was talking to him. I interviewed the guy who was debating him while
I
it
know.
happened. And I mentioned a bunch of times that it was horrible and it was like
horrible.
one of the worst pivots in American politics ever. And secondly,
And because Andrew, Charlie Kirk was somebody just like me and you. We're, in a way, he's somebody just like me and you who was making videos, putting on the internet, and then people literally killed him.
mm-hmm.
And so I thought that was kind of messed up of you to not publicly denounce what happened to Charlie Kirk.
I did.
I never saw anything on Instagram.
What am I supposed to say?
You never shared anything. In fact, you went and interviewed the last person who was interviewing before he got killed.
Yeah, we both talked about how horrible it
And I
was.
didn't even watch the interview because I didn't want to watch that.
Well, you should watch it.
I don't want to.
Why? It's historically relevant.
It is historically relevant. I did lose respect for you when it felt like you went silent about the death of Charlie Kirk. You made the video, you interviewed him, you didn't make any statement or anything because he's somebody just like us who goes out and risks our life for content. People might think that you're a right-wing agitator or you're a fascist if they watch you and they think differently of you.
Well, you should watch the video because I say some stuff in it.
Okay, cool.
Well, I basically just talk about how it's just like
You went completely silent on all of your other platforms.
I only have one platform, Channel
You
5.
have your Instagram, you have
Oh,
Channel
yeah.
5.
It was a Channel 5 video.
You have Channel 5 Instagram. You never like, dang, this is like, I don't feel like you ever made it known that other than maybe in that interview, but to interview the last person that talked to him before he got killed,
Well, here's
more
why.
so trying to profit off of.
No. Here's why.
I don't think you're profiting because I know you do well, but I would not interview the last person.
Here's why I interviewed him specifically. If you actually,
I actually know the backstory of it because your producer told me, and but like I understand why he did it. Somebody probably needed to interview that kid, but I just thought that was because whether you agree with him or not, it'd be like if someone killed you and you're known for making interviewing Hunter Biden and people in the Democratic Party. I would say and post something along the lines of like how horrible it is because I have mutual respect for you, and I think you should have. I think other people who create content should have mutual respect for Charlie Kirk. Who also.
So let me explain it. Do you want to know, or are you just gonna?
Tell me.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the reason I did the interview is because the guy who was interviewing Charlie when he was unfortunately and sadly assassinated was himself a liberal who disagreed with Charlie Kirk.
Yes.
And after Charlie Kirk's murder, I felt like there was a lot of sick in the head, sort of dissociated, antisocial type people celebrating it. And I wanted to interview somebody who was left-leaning, who was actually there to help actually ground people that this was a real guy. He actually was killed. It was horrifying. And anybody really physically there would have been traumatized to witness something like that. It should never happen. And I felt like through the perspective of somebody who wasn't a conservative, him specifically, I was able to kind of instill more humanity into the situation to a demographic that was dehumanizing Charlie.
Good perspective. I personally wouldn't have done it.
Okay.
But I have respect for you, just like how I have respect for Charlie Kirk. I just felt like you kind of went silent on that.
Is it too late?
No.
Charlie Kirk, rest in peace.
I don't feel like it was just like when we're talking about how to gain more trust, it's to speak out when something's wrong on both sides.
I see what you're saying. Going back to that first question. So you feel like if I was to say more about Charlie after he was killed,
Not to say more, but to make a stance on some, you don't have to make a stance, but by you not saying anything about that, for instance, on your Instagram when you have millions of followers that can watch you, that shows that you're not looking for the right word. Because it shows that you're on the left-leaning
like
side.
I'm not sympathetic to people who are conservative. So yeah, that's what you're saying.
It shows that you're on the left side.
So you feel like
And-
in those kind of crucial moments, it would be important for me to vocalize my
Yeah, you have a very powerful voice. Maybe millions of people will see this interview.
Yeah.
And it's like you had the opportunity, just like how everyone else had the opportunity to say something, but you went silent on all your platforms except for the interview where you interviewed the person who was talking to Charlie before he
There's nothing I
died.
can do now, man.
I know there's nothing you can do, but when you're talking about building trust, I feel like it's calling out when it's on both sides.
That's actually a good perspective. I appreciate it.
And so I think it's very funny that people call me, yes, I am conservative, when they call me a MAGA influencer. Well, I think what you're seeing nowadays is maybe MAGA has more truth than the other side, and that's why they labeled me as MAGA.
Yeah.
Is it wrong? Is it true that fraud is fraud? Is it true that fraud is bad? Should we go after the fraudsters and the other people that are stealing our money, or should we defend it? And what has the left done in this case in Minnesota? What have they done?
I mean, Tim Walsey's been prosecuting them for quite a while, fraudsters.
He says he's been going after crime and he even knew of organized crime. He's even said organized crime in previous statements.
I did see there was 60 convictions related to fraud in Minnesota since 2019.
Yes, there's a lot more that need to be done, because how do you still enable fraud? He's been battling it since 2019.
And you feel like he's dragging his feet to get votes.
Yes,
That makes sense.
100%.
That makes perfect sense.
100%. Because this is happening, and so when we're talking about the facts of things that are happening, you could talk about how in Minnesota, their voter ID laws, one person can vouch for 8 people. And how come in California, you don't even have to show an ID when you go and vote? How come in Minnesota, one person can vouch for 8 people? That's corruption. That should not be happening. How can we be supporting people that are allowing that to happen?
Definitely.
And with the Epstein stuff, how can we be supporting the people that are not giving out the information? How can we not be critical of Pam Bondi? How can we not be critical of Cash Patel for saying they were going to release the files and they don't release them?
Yeah.
There needs to be held accountability on both sides, but we have to go about it in a way where me and you can have this conversation, and just how me and the Antifa member can have that conversation and not be labeled as a Nazi and not be labeled as opposition, when in reality our job, me and you specifically, is to be journalists and talk to both sides of the people. And so we should criticize the fraud happening here in the United States. We should criticize the fraud that's happening in other countries, and we just need to have more common sense here in the United States. And to me, being a conservative and supporting Trump, there's more common sense coming from that side than from the left. How can men play in women's sports?
I think the one main issue that I feel like unites the left and the right, at least in a certain income bracket in the U.S., would be affordability.
Yes, 100%.
I think it's probably the main issue that we're talking about. Deep down, I think that the main difference here is diagnosing how we can get to that point. Because when you're talking about your issue with fraud, you mentioned healthcare being expensive.
Yeah.
So we're all talking about the same thing here. It's just, I think the main difference is how are we going to get there?
And then when we have someone like Elon Musk, the smartest man in the world, who offers his help to get rid of fraud here in the United States, which would also help that could potentially cut down prices for healthcare, that could potentially help cut down the prices for homes, that could potentially give people better wages, and then they go and attack him?
Yeah. Well, I think one of the biggest problems is also the private sector controls so many of these things, like medicine and also real estate. It's not like home prices are going to get knocked down because the government has more money.
It might be able to help people not have to pay so much in taxes.
Yeah.
It might help people to be able to take their dollar to buy the next thing.
I just feel like
7% of our taxes are going towards fraud.
Mhm.
So you say you pay $100,000 in taxes, $7,000 is going to go fraudulently to somebody. And when you have you have nearly 400 million people inside the United States, say each person gives $10,000 of fraud, you're going to give, or $10,000 of their income to taxes, you're going to have 700 times almost $400 million going towards fraud in the United States.
Yeah.
You had $120 billion in 2024 going towards fraudulent activity here in the United States. And then we go and attack that person who's trying to combat that.
Yeah. Well, I guess one of the fundamental questions too that I mentioned early on in the interview is like, do you trust the government to handle a surplus in tax revenue if fraud is eliminated?
Say that question.
Like, let's say like fraud is totally eliminated and the government has like an extra stipend of money that they have that they can technically redistribute to things like making medicine cheaper and helping us pay rent. You think that the government would actually do that? Like, do you think they would genuinely invest in social programs that help change the affordability crisis?
I think so. And that kind of goes back to having like faith that we hope our politicians are going to do better and work for us and us not be working for them. Trump's the only president of our lifetime who's actually not even collecting a salary. He has, other than what people will say, he's feeding his ego, well, he's actually not even taking a salary. He's lost money. He's been attacked. He's been nearly shot and killed twice.
Mm-hmm.
He's had, I think, was it 2 or 3 assassination attempts? I want to say 3. He had the guy in Pennsylvania, the guy at his golf course, and there's another one. And people want to keep demonizing Trump like he's some sort of devil. He's not even taking a salary. He wants to put tariffs on other countries with the goal of hoping that we can have more money. And actually, with that tariff income, he's even given military a bonus for Christmas.
Yeah.
And people are saying tariffs are bad. Why should we be paying more money than Indonesia for sending stuff into our country?
Mm-hmm. It's a good question.
So,
but it's also like if Trump's cutting all these different social programs and stuff, who's to say that if he had more money, he would reinvest in the people?
He's not. For instance, when people say he's cutting out funding for food stamps, he's telling people, all right, you're on it for this amount of time, and if you haven't, you need to be showing that you're trying to get off it. Trump is actually incentivizing people to go make a better life for themselves. He's even giving children. He's showing kids how to invest money at a younger age through the stock accounts he's created for them. Michael Dell, the owner of Dell, he gave each child I think $250 so they can see how to invest their money. Right now, you're seeing more people who actually have the power to make a change in America than ever before get involved in the politics, and not because they want to, but because they've been forced to. But then you see people come after them for it.
Do you ever see a world in which independent media will overtake corporate traditional media?
We still have boomers and they're still watching TV, so that is a lot of their audience. But when me and you are 50, 60 years old, do I think that CNN and those companies will be able to operate at the scale that they're operating right now?
Mm-hmm.
I think CNN has around, I know they have more than 1,000 employees, and it took one person to expose $110 million in fraud in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he does expose it, they investigate the person who exposed the fraud, first investigating the fraud taking place.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody has trust in them. Their trust is at all-time low because people like me are able to go and talk to the liberal woman calling me an ICE agent outside the daycare, and also talking to the man who's lived there for 8 years who's never seen a child.
Mm-hmm.
It's impossible for them to do that.
So you think once boomers go?
Yeah, I think once boomers go and once my grandparents aren't here anymore.
Which we don't want to happen, but it has to happen.
Well, it's just a part of life that people will die.
Yeah.
But at that point, I think mainstream media will not really be a thing.
So what can we do to avoid the mistakes that mainstream media made in the past? Because at one point they were quite trusted.
Yeah, at one point they were quite trusted. But actually, were they? Do we know that the history books are correct when only the victors write the history? And at that time, they didn't have social media to combat the information at that time.
I'm just talking about like Walter Cronkite, like when there was like 2 stations and like, you know, there wasn't such a divisive news media corporate competition taking place to where people were competing for views by using pundits and having a 24-hour news cycle. Like when the written word also meant more as well. There was more faith.
Well, I can't speak on that because I wasn't living that generation where you had to.
You could even go back. I mean, honestly, the 24-hour news cycle, if you talk to older people like in their 30s and 40s, post 9/11 was pretty much the first time where cable networks had to keep their airways on all the time. So they started filling slots with not correspondents and not field pieces, but just pundits. So what they would do is they would get two people who fundamentally disagree, and just have them yell at each other for like 2 hours to drive up engagement and keep people watching. So news kind of became like soap opera. Everything kind of became about engagement, like almost like reality TV. And then gradually trust faded because it became so partisan.
Yeah.
Do you think that...
I think it's also a sign of the times that we're seeing distrust and we're seeing the world get a little bit crazier as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, what do you think we need to avoid?
What do we need to avoid?
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to call things out for facts.
Mm-hmm.
And you shouldn't be afraid to say, when I ask you, what are Somalis known for? You're afraid of your viewers watching this video calling you a racist or Islamophobe.
No, to clarify...
You knew that word, Andrew. You knew you were saying pirate. You knew, in your mind...
Well, you're asking
pirate.
me to think in a stereotypical mind, what do I think comes...
In
what's the first
stereotype?
You're asking me what's the first stereotype that comes to mind when I think about Somalia?
I said, what are they known for?
They are known by Americans who don't know Somalis.
What are they known across the West for?
But the West is very much indoctrinated by Hollywood. I'm just saying, I want to wait to answer that before I actually have engaged with the community on a level to where I can actually say, like, they're known for this type of thing.
Because I don't want to committing 89% of the fraud in Minnesota.
But that wasn't the question. You asked me, hey, what are Somalis known for? And of course, I'm thinking of the movie because it's a Tom Hanks Hollywood blockbuster.
Yeah, but it's not. It's a fact that they're committing some sort of piracy in Minnesota. 89% of the fraud is committed by Somalis.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a fact. When we talk about building trust in the future of media, we need to be able to say things for what they are. If Tim Walz goes on TV and calls people like me a white supremacist, it's my responsibility to call Tim Walz on him by saying he's trying to label us as he's enabled this to happen because he's afraid to be called a racist or an Islamophobe. Meanwhile, our generation can't even buy a home. Meanwhile, people are stealing millions of dollars. Mm-hmm. And he's afraid to say that because he's too afraid of being called a racist or an Islamophobe.
Dude, I think that our viewers might be more sympathetic to you than you think.
Well, I think they will because I'm speaking the facts.
No, but you keep like thinking like the viewers are gonna like torture you. I don't think it's gonna be like that, bro.
No, I don't think they will.
Okay, cool. You were like, they're gonna call you me an Islamophobe.
I'm not talking to your viewer. I'm not talking.
Oh, I believe when you said they, I looked at the camera as if they is the Channel 5 audience.
Well, who are we talking to right now? They, like...
There's 3 camera guys, some of your family members, I'm not gonna say who, and then the main camera.
Yeah, but who's this video for? It's for
Channel 5
and them watching the videos.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, I think that they'll probably have a pretty rational response to what you're saying.
Yeah, because I'm not saying anything that's irrational.
Right, but you're seeing how liberal media tears what you say apart, so.
Yeah.
I think you're probably going to get a more fair shot from an audience perspective with Channel 5 than you would at CNN, for sure.
Yeah, I hope so.
No, I'm saying I think you'd probably be pleasantly surprised.
Well, I guess we'll see. But, yeah, like at the beginning of this interview, I know I was, I legit have not been sleeping.
It's okay. You
so, and then I had an energy drink today, and my heart was, pounding super hard, and all I had was an energy drink and a steak for the day. Mm-hmm. So, now it's, like I said, the energy drink passed. Now it's going to be an inside joke for everyone watching this video. But I think we're talking about something super important.
Yeah.
And, I don't know what you're going to title this video.
Nick Shirley interview.
Okay, sick. Yeah, but I just think there's so many issues in the United States right now, and we can actually go out and combat them. We can combat the immigration crisis. We can say that illegal migrants should not be here. The word is illegal. If you're gonna come after me for exposing fraud, something is morally wrong with your brain, where you've gotten to the point where you think fraud is good.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that perspective is probably more like these people are socioeconomically disadvantaged.
They're not, though. They're here in America. We all have the same opportunity. They're Somalian Americans, but they are Americans. They have the same opportunity to go work for him, her, just like I do.
Well, there's pretty significant funding and financial disparities between areas in the U.S.
Well, 81% of Somalians are on welfare.
Mm-hmm. But welfare doesn't necessarily cover everything as long as they give you a ridiculous amount of money.
But they have the same opportunity I do when I wake up in the morning to go create the best life I can possibly create for myself. Mm-hmm. And people are going to say, well, they're going to play the victim card. Well, I could also play the victim card. And I could also say, well, they didn't give me the opportunity I wanted. Do you know, I have made a YouTube video every single week for 100 and now more than 100 weeks every single week. Mm-hmm. My success is not an accident. I have not stopped. I have uploaded. I have taken as many flights as possible. I've taken every single opportunity. I'm sitting down with you. I'm going to be sitting down with another person on Monday. I'll be sitting down with another person on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. I'll be editing my YouTube video during that whole entire process. Mm-hmm. Everybody has the same opportunity if you're a United States citizen. Mm-hmm. Whether you're Black, Mexican, Asian. I mean, look at your crew filming right now. You have a Asian, Japanese man. I don't know who he is. You have a Mexican with a face tat.
Hey, film yourself. Film yourself. Look at that Mexican and all the opportunities he's got. Look at him holding that thing, huh?
Blur out the photos and blur out them.
Okay, cool. What about him?
He's a white American.
With tattoos.
With face tattoos.
Making it hard
and he's working just with you.
Yeah.
And you're interviewing me and I have no tattoos and I look like how I look.
You look great,
and
man.
You look how you look.
Yeah.
We all have the same opportunity. So the fact that people think that they don't have the same opportunity, mm-hmm. that they can't go create a lifestyle they want, or that they can't go and make money, I don't believe in that. Mm-hmm. I've never worked for anybody in my entire life. I've created everything I have. Mm-hmm. And so for people to be receiving welfare for years on end, mm-hmm. and then Trump tells you, okay, this is what you need to do to require to show that you are going to become self-sufficient, and then people will get upset about it. People have played such a victim mentality to the point where they think that they do not have the same opportunity. Those Somalians in Minnesota have the same opportunity I have every single day. Mm-hmm. Yet 89% of the fraud being committed in Minnesota is by Somalians.
Well, I would go even deeper on a welfare perspective. And if you look at the implementation of welfare, in the 1950s in the Black community, it was right after they systematically eradicated Black homeownership with different urban planning programs, and so it kind of emerged in order to keep.
When was that?
In the 1950s. But I'm saying welfare, I think, was actually.
We're in 2026.
No. Listen, welfare as an institution was kind of created to keep people in state dependency for a long period of time. So I definitely think that transitioning off of welfare should be a goal for the country.
Yeah, I mean, who's the most successful comedian in the United States?
Dave Chappelle.
Or Dave Chappelle.
Is it Kevin Hart?
It's either Kevin Hart or Dave Chappelle. Either way, they're Black.
Mm-hmm. Jackie Robinson.
They have the same opportunity.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson, the biggest musician of all time, comes from Gary, Indiana.
He was Black for a part of his life.
Well, he was still Black even when he turned white.
Yeah, that's true. I wasn't alive during his Black era.
Yeah, either was I.
But I've seen the photos and I trust them.
Either way, he has the same opportunity. That I love the song that he has. It doesn't matter if you're Black or white. Because it does not matter if you're Black or white here in the United States. You have the same opportunity. And Michael Jackson
red, white,
knew that.
Yeah.
He was once Black and then he eventually became white.
Yeah, unlike us, we'll always be white.
Yeah, and he just happened to be diagnosed with that skin disease, but it showed that you can be just as successful as a Black person as you can as a white person. Mm-hmm. And so I don't have any sympathy for the people committing fraud when we're talking, because this video is about fraud, because we're on the topic of Minnesota fraud.
Yes.
So I don't have any sympathy for people that commit fraud. Mm-hmm. When I am working every single day to make my money, and then to know that anywhere from 30 to 50% of my paycheck's going to go back in the hands of the government, mm-hmm. and 7% of that money is going to go back in the hands of a fraudster, mm-hmm. unacceptable.
Mm-hmm. But there was some of the daycare facilities that you visited that did have some kids at some point.
After I had been there and they were planning coordination with the media, and they came after me for saying, you didn't go there during operating hours at that quality daycare. Well, they had been shut down. There was no one there. The guy hadn't seen for 8 years. There's never been a child there. And then the guy, why would they go ahead and fix Quality Learning Center, the sign, if they were closed? Mm-hmm. Why would they start shuffling children in? And why would the manager of that daycare be partying with the mayor? Mm-hmm. Why would the mayor be so proud to know that the people who he is pandering to and trying to get their votes is committing 89% of the fraud in Minnesota. And when it's registered that some of these daycares have also contributed to the campaigns of these individuals. How could anybody say that's a good thing? When they come here to the United States, Trump said it very well. They come in here and they bitch and they complain. Yeah, it'd be a whole different thing if they were bitching about their life in Somalia, but they're here in the United States and they have the same opportunity that we all have, and they're complaining. Well, if you're complaining so much and you want your life and you're so proud of your country, why don't you go live there? They won't, because they know life here's 100 times better than it could be in Somalia.
Yeah. What's the best thing about life here?
Life here, we wake up and you have the same opportunity I have every single day. Like, I love the fact that if I want to wake up and I want to go film something, or if I want to go just dedicate my day to just sit on the couch, I can do that. But if I dedicate my day to sitting on the couch, I'm not going to have that opportunity for tomorrow.
What's your dream interview? My
dream interview? Well, now that I'm on the topic of fraud on my channel, I think it'd be good to interview Elon Musk. I think that'd be a good one. Dream interview. There's a lot of people I'd like to interview.
Let's do top 5 in no particular order.
Could they be dead or alive?
They have to be alive because we have to be able to have them see this.
I really want to interview Kanye West. I think he'd be a fascinating interview.
I almost got him.
Dang. I think he'd be a good one. Obviously Trump. I think Trump is such an icon for America. Like, whether you like him or not, it's impossible to avoid him. I think that'd be a very good interview. I'd love to interview Nayib Bukele. I think I'm very interested in the people that run the world, especially with leaders. Like, for instance, like when we talk, so there we have Elon. He's the richest, most powerful man. Not the most powerful. He's the richest man. I believe Elon is the most beneficial man to society that we've had in our generation, giving us one, free speech, creating all the innovation he's had, from PayPal to Tesla to Starlink to putting rockets into the sky. If me and you did a single one of those things, that'd be pretty amazing. He's done all of those. And people get mad at him for being a billionaire. Well, he's worked harder than me and you have. He's worked harder than the person complaining on their phone sitting on the couch. So I think Elon would be a great interview. I think Trump would be a great interview. I think Nayib Bukele would be an amazing interview. I think that man has done more he's liberated an entire country. I think Kanye West, I think he is a very innovative person in his way. You can't listen to rap music and not admire how he's able to layer his music, how he's able to compose it and mix it in with all these other people. Like, he is an artist. Similar to how me and you, when we're editing, we have our timelines and we're mixing in music and we're mixing in voiceovers, we're mixing in overlays. In a way, what we do is very much artistic as well.
Yeah.
But so I think interviewing somebody like Kanye West, who's actually like shifted and shaped his own style of music. I don't listen to rap nowadays because it all sounds the same.
Think so? I gotta send you some slappers.
Well, I don't really listen to rap. That's why I just said I don't listen to rap.
Okay, cool.
Top 3 Kanye songs.
Top 3 Kanye songs. I love Runaway.
Okay, that's a good one.
That's an amazing one. I like Gel and Donda. And then I like Homecoming with Chris Martin.
So you like a wide variety of Kanye's music?
Yeah, I think and I also would say I love the song Spaceships as well. I love the song that it's just like he's talking about how he's just grinding in his like room. And he's just hoping for that break, and then he goes and gets it, and he becomes the most successful black artist of all time.
Is that how you feel right now? Mine's the black part.
No.
Yeah. You're the most successful white. Actually, let's take white out of the equation. You're the most successful American journalist on the internet right now.
Cool. It's just, I guess it's a product of just not stopping.
Meaning, you could probably get those interviews you just mentioned.
Yeah, I hope so. And that's like, if you go in my room, you'll see a whiteboard full of all my goals.
And do you, whenever you think about, it's great you said that, I do the same thing. As far as the child care funding being frozen in Minnesota, is there a part of you that does feel bad for like the centers that were committing fraud who've now lost their funds?
No, because they have the opportunity to prove that they're legit. And right as they do that, they'll receive their funding again. I think that's a great way to eliminate fraud here in the United States.
Is that what the Trump administration said?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
As soon as they show proof of being a legit business, they will give them their money. Today, they've had 3 days to do it. Not a single business has sent in proof of being a legit business.
If you had $1 billion, what would you do?
$1 billion, I've invested into the stock market so I can collect 5% every single year, and then I would never have to worry about money. But even if I did have $1 billion, I actually wouldn't have to worry about money. So I'd probably just use it to make better YouTube videos.
So you'd build some kind of YouTube fortress in the mountains up here?
I'd probably build like a barn-dominium, and then have like a warehouse where I could employ people that I like, and then make it so my parents would never have to work again.
Yeah, that's what I did. Feels good.
Congrats.
Yeah, it's definitely the best part about success is getting the parents off of the.
Yeah, I mean, my parents don't need my money or they don't need help, but I think it'd be cool to be like, all right, Daddy, here's 5 more years, go and have a trip with Mom.
Yeah. Awesome.
I'd probably also give my grandpa who's like 9 years old, like
Yeah.
a bunch of money to go complete his bucket list.
So you have these 2 things happening right now. You have obviously the fear that comes with getting a bunch of threats, and you have, I'm sure, the excitement from being seen on such a international level. When those things clash, what wins?
Me?
No, like, are you so stoked that it's overpowering the fear, or is the fear making you less stoked?
I'm gonna do bigger and better things.
You think so? It's gonna be hard to top this moment, but I believe in you.
But, I mean, topping this moment, I don't think it's about topping this moment. I think it's more about creating change in the future. I'm 23 years old. Who knows what I can do in the next 20 years.
Yeah, same here. I'm 28. So maybe you and I.
Like, what's your plans for the future, Andrew?
Man.
So do you want to make YouTube videos until you're like 60?
Yeah. I want to make YouTube videos until I'm 85.
That'd be sick.
No. I mean, expanding into the Latin American media market, Spanish language videos. Definitely, I'm building an independent streaming platform called C5.now, which is going to rival Netflix and HBO. We're taking all the films that were, I guess, too controversial for the main studios to buy, and we're putting it in the smart TV app, and we're giving 100% of the proceeds back to the creators, so it's kind of cutting out that studio executive barrier. And then I'm just going to keep making videos. I mean,
yeah, I think that's important to always keep, because it's you're probably very similar to me, where you kind of just, we've been doing YouTube for so long, it's like who we are.
Yeah, I've taken a month off just because I got so fatigued by doing this for 5 years that I was just like, dude, I don't feel like doing that. But I saw what you did, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, I think my you want to ask me that question?
Which one?
What do I want to do in the future?
What do you want? I love that. Okay. So, what do you want to do in the future? What's the long-term plan?
Long-term plan would be, I think what you just saw is actually creating change inside of America with a video that actually created change. And so I'd like to continue making the world a better place, whether it be through cutting off fraud or speaking out against corruption or helping the old lady next to me. And eventually I would like to use all this knowledge. Well, what's funny about the mainstream media attacking me is I actually never really gave my opinion on social media. I pretty much just interviewed people and showed them. But now I'm forced to give my opinion because they've attacked me and they've came after me. In a way, they've like set me loose from all the knowledge that I've acquired. Now I can implement it. And so I think it'd be stupid to be making all these YouTube videos and to be going to all these locations and speaking with thousands of people without actually creating change. Whether that be in the future getting into politics or just working on a local level. And like I would love to be able to help youth kind of realize their potential as well, whether it be like through starting a boys' home. I think like young men have so much potential, and just the fact that if you can garnish the energy of a teenage boy and put it towards something powerful and something that's actually going to benefit them in the future versus just playing video games, but to get them to really start thinking about what they're doing. For instance, I started doing YouTube when I was 15, and the success I'm having now would not have been possible without the learning from 15 to 18. Like those were 3 years of trying whatever to be able to then have that knowledge to when I actually knew what I wanted to do, be able to do it.
And are you ever worried the Matrix will come for you if you continue to accrue power and influence?
They are. Like when you say Matrix, like I think that's like the mainstream media or people, but like, who do you think the Matrix is?
I think it's the C-suites of the corporations that own the major news channels.
Yeah, I mean, they can try, but that's why I think it's so important that we have platforms like X. Because even if they want to, say the mainstream media hates you, you can still make a business off of people who support you.
That's right. Nick, thanks so much for your time, man. I really appreciate it. Anything else you wanted me to ask that you feel like I didn't touch on?
I don't know, is there anything you think we should talk about?
No?
How long have we been running for?
An hour 40.
Hour 40, you want to go to 2 hours or something?
Yeah, let's do it. Is there any coverage that you regret at all?
Yeah, there actually is some coverage I think I like messed up on. Or not that I necessarily messed up on, but maybe not have been totally informed, which is hard because when you're making a YouTube video every single week, you just can't be like the expert on every topic. So there was a time when I went to Ukraine and I made a video and I was missing, I kind of like geographically, I'm from Utah, so all the mountains and stuff, you know, like north to south. And someone gave, when I was in Ukraine, they asked me, do you want to go to where the first place where Russia invaded, which was a place called Busha? And I didn't know like whether it was north, south, west. And then somebody interviewed me after, because I had criticized where U.S. tax dollars were going. Somebody interviewed me after asking me, like, did you go to the east? And I said, well, yeah, I went to Busha. I thought that's where Russia initially invaded. That was one of the main places they invaded, trying to go to Kyiv. So that was like a mistake on my end. And I felt so bad after that, but it was just a mistake that we had made, and I just made it publicly.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. But it didn't make me want to do YouTube less. It was just a learning lesson, which is hard for people to see, have an actual learning lesson publicly.
Yeah, definitely. For me, I really regret like just not pushing back enough in certain interviews. Like just in general, like when I like people, you know.
Yeah.
So when I'm talking to someone, like, you know, especially when they're in a position of political authority and I kind of disagree with them, I end up just looking at the footage back in post and being like, man, I really wish I would have asked
that would
this.
probably help you build more credit.
No, but sometimes in the moment, I just gotta.
It's hard.
I don't like being mean to people or making people uncomfortable with my questions. So it's like when I'm doing these interviews, I'm just like with the Pete Buttigieg interview. Like that to me, that was like, I thought it was going to build credibility, but because I didn't ask enough tough questions, I kind of got like torn apart. It was like, oh well, what about this guy during his time as mayor in South Bend? You know, he destroyed the city with his investments, and like it was just a moment where I was like, God, you know, I wish I could have like, you know, but I don't know how to sharpen that skill. It's that kind of thing. I don't know how to do that. I mean, maybe
just ask the question that you have on your mind.
No, because sometimes you ask it and then they just like sometimes politicians are so creative in getting around questions.
Then they can get around with it, but you'll feel better about yourself when you're watching it after.
Yeah, I guess I just gotta, maybe it's like, you know, when people have obsessive compulsive disorder, they have a phobia, they'll get like exposure therapy. If somebody hates olives, they'll make them the therapist will like fill them up with olives, so they're just like, they go nose blind to it. Maybe I have to do that with different types of interviews. Like I just gotta speed run hard hitting interviews, but you know.
Be good.
Yeah, I also just don't like watching like Piers Morgan style interviews really.
Yeah, I think like that's why people love Joe Rogan so much, because he just lets people talk.
Yeah.
So I think like today you let me talk, which was great. And sorry if I interrupted you sometimes.
No, it's all good.
I think we both had a good conversation on that aspect of life, but I think that's important to be able to let people speak and then go ahead and question them.
Yeah, and I'm also sorry I didn't give you credit for pointing me in the right direction in Arizona. Because
it's all good.
No, but it's like that's another example of like sometimes you unknowingly burn bridges with other creators because you don't think about how much that might mean to them in the moment. You know, like
it's like if you say you're gonna say something, like my word, when I say it in person, like once it's out there, that's happening.
Yeah.
If I say I'm gonna be there at 5, I'm gonna be there at 5. If I'm not there at 5, I'm gonna text you at 4:58 saying I'm gonna be a little bit late.
No, totally. And I guess like
but people don't do that.
But I'm so used to kind of like giving that sort of like, yeah man, sure, I'm done. Like, you know, just that sort of like affirmative chatter.
Yeah.
And I actually forgot that I had told you I was gonna do that.
Yeah, well,
I didn't remember that or even know that until you brought that up today.
Well, it was in the text, and I texted you. I said, oh, here's the location, let me know where you're going. You can do it.
Did I respond?
No, you left me a red, but you went to the location I sent you to.
Exactly. So thank you, and I won't do that again. But it's shit like that, sorry. It's stuff like that you don't even like necessarily think of. Like I had a similar thing with Brandon Buckingham when I was younger, where like he gave me somebody's number. Yeah. Me and him are homies now, but he gave me somebody's number to go to O Block to like interview them. And like in my head, I'm like, yo, thanks for the number, G. And he was like, shout me out, and I was like, yeah, I got you. But like I had gotten so into my head about like the post production process and all this stuff, and I was like, I don't know what this is gonna fit. And it kind of slid my mind. So I know that like those gestures might feel small, but they go a long way.
I'd actually like to ask you a question.
What's up?
What do you think about Trump?
I don't like him.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm confused by that because I remember when we had dinner in LA, you said you were excited for Trump.
I'm excited what the Trump administration has done for the news media landscape, and I'm excited that people now feel more emboldened to speak freely and that we can engage in open discourse. I think culturally, as far as cross-political connection, it's been a positive force because you don't have the oppressive weight of shame that was governing liberal discourse for a very long time. So there's different levels that I look at it, but I mean, do I think that he is somebody who's going to fundamentally change the structure of the U.S. for the better? I don't think so. Do I think there could be someone inspired by more populist candidates like that to do so in the future? Probably. I just don't necessarily see him as fundamentally changing things for our generation. I don't see him forgiving student loans. I don't see him doing things long term that make it so people don't have to have 4 roommates and work 2 jobs just to, have their job replaced by AI in the first place.
I could ask you a question to counter it, but I don't know if we want to get into that. So do you think just by like flooding the country with 20 million people helped us with affordability?
No, but I think that as long as the U.S. continues to market itself like it has, like the U.S., the most interesting thing about the migrant conversations is what they think the U.S. is going to be like versus their real experience. You mentioned it, how a lot of them get here and they're like, what? Yeah. Who sold us the lie?
It's the most inhumane thing that's potentially ever happened in our generation to allow that to happen to people on the migrant side and the American side.
But also, where's the accountability for the farmers in the Central Valley of California who are responsible for creating this inflow of people who are hopping the border to work these farm jobs? You don't see those individual farmers getting prosecuted. You see ICE rounding up their workers and sending them back. The Farm Bureau itself
should also be.
But we're talking about incentive. The flooding is happening because they know, hey, we can get these jobs here. Like there's existent economic structures. It's not just a Hail Mary every single time.
But so if we do have a person in office who's going to do something like that, why shouldn't we be critical but also support it?
The best situation is you close the border and have an extremely robust immigration program so people coming here for the right reasons can do so and assimilate properly. And those who are exploiting the asylum process would have to wait in Mexico for their application to be heard. And if it's denied, they would have to either try again or wait to be naturalized a different way.
Yeah.
But it seems like you're only, with both parties, they're marketing.
Why shouldn't we be able to choose who we want to come in and out of our country?
What we should be able to. But the immigration system is so backed up and broken that when you tell somebody before, hey, you can apply to be a citizen, but it's going to take you between 3 to 5 years for someone to hear your application process, and they know they've got work in Texas a day's drive away. Their common sense is like, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Mm-hmm. And the cartels are saying, oh, you want to do that? Perfect, I'll take you. The same people they're paying are the ones importing fentanyl. So you have this just horrible system, so you would need policy reform on a few levels.
Yeah, and it comes down for people who aren't born in the United States. It's not a human right to receive citizenship here. If anything, it's an opportunity to get it, and you gotta follow the rules for it.
I agree with that, yeah, for sure.
So, I think sympathy towards people who want to come in here has, in a lot of ways, destroyed the opportunities for our generation.
I think if sympathy overpowers your ability to look at a situation objectively, that would be an example of you kind of being like hypnotized by the wrong sources of information. But I think you can have sympathy for people struggling looking for a better life.
It's just simple supply and demand. If you have 20 million people who need to come and buy a house or rent an apartment, and you have other people who need it, you're going to raise the prices.
Their landlords have been raising the prices systematically since the 1980s. I mean, the reason you can't buy a house is not because of an immigrant. I mean, they want us to think that because it's an easier scapegoat.
Well, if you look at the graphs, when we receive all this immigration, the price of homes has gone up more than normal.
I don't think those two things are connected. If you look at,
but just based off simple supply and demand.
Those you can. I'm sure you can plot that out. But I mean, rent has.
They have to be able to sleep in at least 10 million different locations.
Yeah, but we have 340 million people. I mean, I'm just saying home values rising and rent rising is a result of like greedy developers, landlords doing price gouging, so many factors. Like I'm from Seattle, a city with not that much immigration from the border. And since since 2013, before all of this stuff, like rent had doubled because of Amazon moving their corporate campus downtown.
H-1B visas and all that stuff.
No, I'm saying Amazon as a tech company themselves bulldozed my home neighborhood, built apartments for their workers who are legal, and most of them are from the U.S. but from surrounding suburbs, and none of us could afford to live, so we had to all move to other low-income areas around, or just build our own way and move into an RV like I did. So I don't think there's a correlation between home values rising and migrants coming. There's probably a correlation, though, between agricultural jobs being offered to Americans or in the service industry and immigrants coming in, for sure. But what... I mean, I just can't see a logical connection between immigration and home prices rising.
I think that'd be very stupid to not be able to come to the conclusion that supply and demand is.
Well, they're all
really
poor,
rising
so
prices.
landlords raise prices when rich people move in because they go, "Oh, we got some big bucks in town, like in Aspen or somewhere."
But just a normal sized home that used to cost $200,000 now costs $300,000.
So you saying real estate developers see like a bunch of migrants rolling in town, they go, "Let's jack these prices up. These Venezuelans are rolling in cash."
And then the billionaires are able to come and buy the houses, and it causes the rent to go up, and they're able to charge certain prices, and a migrant can then move in with 8 other migrants, and they can afford rent versus the one person who has a family with 2 children can't go and get that house because
Rent is going up because the richest people in the country don't care about people like you and I. And they're interested in making as much profit as they can and keeping us as poor as possible for as long as they possibly can until regular people can figure out how to get control and get a foothold in the government. I think that they want us to blame migrants because it's easier for them because they don't threaten their power either. So if they can keep us bickering about whether or not this migrant group got here the right way, then nothing will ever change and we're just going to be here forever.
I would beg to differ, but I do think there is corruption within the billionaire class here inside the United States. But just on a matter-of-fact basis, that the issue of supply and demand instantly comes into place when you bring in 20 million people.
If anything, wouldn't they lower the rent?
No, because then they have more competition and they can raise the prices.
I just don't
And
think
the-
that
and when you
immigrants are
own-
increasing the density of New York City.
When you bring in 10 million people, there needs to be 10 million locations. Not 10 million, there needs probably 2 million. Still, that's a lot of infrastructure to be up to. That's a lot of building to take place, and so you're going to be able to rate. It's just a supply and demand issue.
Yeah, I just think we fundamentally disagree on that, knowing how just greedy developers are in general.
And then if people aren't able to afford it, then they have to get Section 8, and then they get stuck in that system where if you make more than $40,000, you're gonna lose your Section 8, and if you go and do better, like the lower class is trapped here inside the United States because
The middle class has been erased by corporatization.
Yeah, and so
The
there's
small business sector's been gutted since Reagan.
Yeah, there's a huge issue with affordability and housing, and I think we'd be in a better place if we didn't just let in 10 million people through our borders.
Well, I guess we'll have to see. I hope that you're right because that's what Trump is doing. If the border's closed and in 15 years everybody my age is just living happily in a 3-bedroom family home.
Prices will continue to go up because they go up over time, but at the rate that they were going up was unacceptable, and it screwed over me and your generation. Like, how are people supposed to be able to buy homes?
We can't.
Exactly.
But you think closing the border will make it so we can buy a home?
Well, the effects are already in place. The inflation already went up. The houses and the prices have gone up, and the wasteful spending has increased as well. And who's profiting? The billionaires and the politicians.
Well, I think they have a vested interest in making sure nothing
NGOs.
changes.
I don't think so. I think there's bad billionaires, and I think there's good billionaires in this world.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of billionaires are trying to make a lot of change here in this world.
Yeah.
And I think they create a lot of opportunity. You talk about Amazon. Well, Amazon also employs hundreds of thousands of people here inside the United States.
Mm-hmm. Who do you think are the 3 most benevolent billionaires?
What do you mean by the word benevolent?
Just well-intentioned, positive billionaires who you think are creating, net positive societal progress.
Trump, our president.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a good one. I think Elon Musk.
Mm-hmm.
I think what he's doing is creating innovation. He provides lots of jobs to people.
Mhm.
I think that's a good one. And then the third one, I'd have to think about that. Well, I have some names, but like I think David Sachs, he's looking for innovation inside of AI and crypto.
Mhm.
I think that's a good thing to be happening. I think that all the guys on the All In podcast, I had a conversation with them on their podcast. I think they're looking out for the best of America, and I think a lot of people I think a lot of the billionaires are actually trying to make a difference in this world with their money they have, because you don't need $1 billion, and they know that they are able to use their resources
Well, then
to create change.
why did they virtually get, taxed almost nothing while the basically bottom 99% have to give solid 20-30% of our income to the state?
Yeah, it's unfair for us, and but that's also how businesses are set up. So you're running a business. Elon Musk, they had to actually add on an extra number inside the IRS so he could pay taxes.
Yeah.
So people are mad at him for making money.
Yeah. I mean, I fundamentally hope that everything you're saying is true, just so you know.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah,
I hope we all have the best interest in society and for our people, because
Yeah.
the affordability is insane and people can't buy houses.
Yeah.
And if we're talking about creating change, we need to let innovation prosper inside the United States.
Yeah.
And you're not seeing it. We're not seeing innovation. In fact, we're seeing fraudsters take our money.
Mm-hmm. In Minneapolis, but there's innovation happening elsewhere, right?
Yes, but there's so many restraints happening. Like, when have you seen an American city? What American city is prospering right now?
Austin,
Austin. Name another one.
El Paso, Texas.
El Paso, Texas is prospering.
Yeah. I think
Why you think?
it's doing better. New bars and restaurants have opened, but I could probably think of some better examples.
Like what?
Nashville's doing good. Austin's doing good. Phoenix is doing good. Basically, any place with low state tax is getting a lot of.
In any place that's not Democrat.
I don't know about that. I mean,
Name a Democrat city that's prospering right now.
well, it would have to be one that's affordable.
Name one.
A city inside of a blue state that is prospering. Denver,
Why are you smirking?
because I don't know if it's prospering.
Because
or
it's not.
not.
See, you can't even answer the
I think
question.
Denver is.
I don't-
It's
No.
not prospering. Denver's not prospering either.
I agree that Democrat-run states are doing badly.
Yeah, and who do you support?
I don't support any Democratic
But
governors.
are you left leaning or right leaning?
When it comes to state government, like, do I support Gavin Newsom? No, I don't. That's why I'm trying to get out of there, but I can't because I'm attached to the coast.
Yeah, so I think what you're seeing is the right is looking to have innovation, looking to succeed, and you're seeing left locations like Democrat-run cities not prospering. In fact, they're going backwards.
Mm-hmm. Those are also the most expensive cities, and they generate the large majority of the tax revenue for the entire country. The San Francisco Bay Area,
So
which is a blue city, probably generates more tax revenue that's used for programs in the entire American South, excluding Atlanta.
That probably tells you why there's so much corruption, why there's so much bad, because you use the word programs.
Mm-hmm. Or let me rephrase, not programs, all tax revenue, so highways, basically every single thing that we need taxable subsidies for. So these still are economic powerhouses. Like, even money made in a blue state still cycles back on a federal level to benefit, everything that we use tax money for. The post office, fire stations, cops, and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Why is California trying to essentially push out the billionaires by imposing another 5% tax on these people? When billionaires are literally the ones who create opportunities and they create jobs for people, yet people who you support, because you say you're left leaning, are the ones pushing them out.
well, billionaires are choosing to leave because they don't want to pay an extra 5%, which should kind of tell you what billionaires are about, right?
Yeah, because they're not able to then pay their employees as much.
I think they'd be able to pay.
$1 billion is not a difference of $2 billion to a billionaire. You can't, if you have $1 billion that you can buy a $10 million house, you can buy a $20 million house. There's no difference. The thing is they're going to face different restrictions inside of a Democrat-run state than they are in a Republican state. That's why they all moved to Texas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's why now Elon Musk, he left, he moved to Texas.
Yeah, they're moving to Texas to save money because they don't want their money to be taken and go to the poor.
No. And what happens in California? $24 billion went missing, Andrew.
Oh yeah, I agree with you that Gavin Newsom and the NGO industrial complex is embezzling the funds, but those, to me, I know this is probably going to sound crazy, I view them as like not necessarily having the best interests of the people in mind.
Yeah, and those are the people you support.
I don't vote for California Democrats.
You're supporting the left. And right now you have the opportunity to support people who are actually trying to create innovation, change the country. You have the opportunity to. So does everyone watching this video. And if you think that deporting an illegal migrant is wrong, the word is illegal. If you think cracking down on fraud is bad, the word is fraud. If you think cracking down on the word corruption is wrong, the word's corruption. If you think a girl should be able to play, or a boy should be able to play in a female sport, it's a girl, or it's a boy playing against girls.
Yeah.
So is there anything that actually makes sense in the Democrat Party right now?
Well, I think
Actually, answer that question. Is there anything that makes sense in the Democrat Party?
No, I'm not a Democrat.
Who do you lean left or right?
Yeah, I'd probably lean more left, but I don't feel represented by any political party.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who do you want to support then? You have to support somebody.
He's not there.
You can't just.
They're
stand
not
in the
there.
middle.
She's not there.
Like right now, if you want to create change in this country, who are you going to support?
There's not a single elected official who I think is the man.
So what are you going to do? Just sit there
Yeah.
and create no change?
No, create a bunch of journalism and wait for the right guy to come along. He's just not here. But we're not 20s.
Okay, I made a video. I talked to liberals, I talked to Republicans, I talked to the crazy leftists, I talked to the homeless man, and they come and attack me for making a video about fraud, exposing fraud.
That's not cool. You're acting like these are my people. I don't know these people.
Yeah, but you can't even stand on business and say, this is why I'm left-leaning.
I am left-leaning for labor
And
reasons.
then what society benefits have come from the left?
We haven't had a sizable leftist political party in American history.
You had Joe Biden.
Liberals. Centrist liberals. Defending elite interests.
And you had Obama.
Centrist liberal defending elite interests.
So who are you going to support? You need to support somebody.
You're telling me that if you can point me in the right direction of a guy, but I don't see most of those people as being leftists.
But you can't serve two masters. You can't think,
I'm thinking outside the two-party system.
So you can't think, well, I'm just going to sit here and wait till the next person to create change.
No.
Stuff's happening right now. People can't afford houses right now. And then you're talking about people moving out of California.
No,
you're talking about programs.
I support
That's the reason why. California's one of the most expensive states in America.
I support voting on a local level, especially. I think that's probably the most important thing you can do. So I support voting on a local level for sure.
And if we want to create change nationally,
then that's possible. But two-party electoral politics hasn't created much change, has it?
And if you have to support somebody, you have to choose.
Now we have to choose.
So if you have to choose between the Democrats and Republicans.
Well, you just said yourself that the corporate media machine is on the verge of collapse. What makes you think the two-party electoral system is going to last any longer?
Quite frankly, it'll be impossible for an independent group at this point in time. I think in 50 years, when the boomers are gone, mainstream media will die. But as of right now, they're still going to thrive. And right now, in this moment of time, we have to choose who's going to create the most innovation and change and make America a more prosperous country.
But Trump can't even release the Epstein files.
He has released them, and he did react, and that's his Achilles heel, is this Epstein file thing.
Yeah.
So we can't do anything about that. But what we can do is talk about fraud. We can talk about homelessness. We can talk about all of our money going to, it's like we can talk about going back to fraud, about 7% of our taxes going to fraud. We can talk about how $24 billion went missing for homelessness in California, and how they're incentivized to keep people homeless so they can continue receiving money from the state.
Yeah, that's all true.
Right? So we can actually do stuff that creates change. We can't tell Trump to go release the Epstein files, and it's just because you support Trump doesn't mean you support everything he does. But he's the man in office right now, and you do need to think who's going to be able to create the change.
Yeah.
And how are we supposed to be able to do it?
Well, he's in office, so I'm saying now is the chance to prove to people like me and like other people that positive change can happen. And if he does, it's Team Trump forever.
I would say he's trying to, but you're seeing what happens when he says he wants to go deport illegal migrants. Leftist judge block his orders, or when he wants to deploy the National Guard to Chicago to make it a safer place, Democrats weaponize it. Like, do you agree that Chicago's a safe place? Would you agree that the west side and the south side of Chicago is a safe place?
I think that the west side and the south side are not safe places. However, I'm not sure how deploying the National Guard to that particular ICE facility out west is going to change the situations in O-Block or somewhere like that.
Okay, so take a look at Memphis, for instance. They allowed the National Guard to go in there. Or if you take a look at Washington, D.C., they allowed the National Guard to go in there, and crime significantly went down. Right. In 2025, murders are the lowest they've been in years.
Well, they've been declining steadily since '94.
It's the lowest they've been.
One thing
in
I want to
years.
push back on too is the conservative narrative that America was at its most dangerous point before Trump started cracking down. If you look at a graph, homicides have been trending downward since the mid to late '90s for a long time. We're actually in the safest time. Every single year gets more safe than the last. And of course, there are certain cities like St. Louis, Baltimore, Memphis that always have some degree of violence, but things are not that bad in the U.S. as far as gun violence goes. They're really getting a lot better. So if things continue, I think that we'll gradually be able to root out the problem.
And if you look at the graph, it's an exponential drop in violence in violence here in the United States.
I wouldn't say exponential. I mean, I think
it's a
well, if
pretty
you look at
large
the video we did about Baltimore, that they were able to cut homicides in half, and Trump didn't send anybody there. They did it all, inside the community.
Yeah, it's amazing. Cheers for Baltimore for doing that. Maybe if places in Chicago took that same initiative, it would happen. But they're not. So therefore, we have to trust the people in office who have the power to actually go make a change and to send a National Guard and to actually use them to make that place a safer place.
So what would they do in a place like South Chicago where you have like 50 blocks that are in food deserts with no health care?
If you had a National Guard man patrolling the streets, do you think young gangsters would feel emboldened to go and steal from the gas station?
Yeah.
Like, we have the military, we have them, we have law enforcement, we have laws.
Mm-hmm.
People haven't always been walking around in shiesties and shooting people.
They've always been shooting people. The shiesties came from Pooh Shiesty, who, by the way, is free now, and he's back in Memphis, so the homicides might be going up.
They're actually going down because the National Guard was there in Memphis.
Well, I heard his song, and he said the war's back on, whatever, but that's probably not reflective of the data.
So, like, everything we're talking about, like, they're trying to make a difference here in the United States, and we should also be trying to create change with our platforms and with our journalism.
Mm-hmm.
What I just did is I exposed fraud, and within I think it was the next day, they freeze funding for childcare in Minnesota until a business can prove they're legit. All they have to do is prove they're legit, but no business has been able to send them proof of legitimacy inside of Minnesota. What does that tell you?
Mm-hmm.
If you really need that money for those 100 kids that you have the capacity for, how quick would you send in proof of being a legit business?
Me? I don't know. I don't work in childcare, but probably pretty quickly.
Would you wait?
No.
If you had 100 kids you had to care for?
No.
Yeah, they're not legit businesses, Andrew.
No, Nick, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just trying to hear you out here.
I know. But you won't take a stance on it.
No,
it's like,
no.
dude, come on.
What stance on what in particular? On fraud being bad?
Yes, like
fraud is bad. Fraud sucks. If you do fraud, get the heck out of the country.
And so
fraud
it's like,
is no good. I've been defrauded before. Thankfully, the bank gave the money back.
Great, yeah.
That probably couldn't happen on an institutional
so like
childcare.
earlier in this interview, we're talking about fraud and we're talking about the cases about it, but yet none of these businesses can actually prove that they're legit businesses. Tim Waltz has been fighting fraud since 2019. He hasn't done anything about it.
Mm-hmm. Well,
And Tim Waltz, if we want to continue talking about Tim Waltz really quick, this is super important to talk about. Because Kamala Harris, why would she choose Tim Waltz?
Mm-hmm. For the white vote or something?
Yeah. Well, the day she chose Tim Waltz, she received the most amount of donations from any presidential candidate in American history.
From? Tim Waltz.
Yes, where do you think?
I don't know. I thought there was a crazy punchline,
high
like
school
the leading
football?
center.
How do you think the football coach went from was all of a sudden able to raise the most money than any other person?
Probably connections to donors and super PACs. But you mentioned the ABC Learning Center in particular.
Yes.
And I mentioned that they did, I'm not sure if this is real or not, but they did release footage of kids entering and exiting the building during operating hours on the same day that you guys were there.
And their capacity is for 40 children. And in that video, there was 12 children. And that place receives $1 million.
But you do admit there was kids.
Yes, and I don't doubt that there are kids inside of some of these daycares. It'd be very stupid of a business receiving millions of dollars and not to show face with a few kids. It'd be very stupid.
Do you see also how some people can say that you pull up with a couple dudes in cameras and they would get suspicious and not want to let you guys inside?
I can understand that, but they should be able to say, And when I ask the question, how do I enroll my son little Joe into daycare?
Well, there's probably not
If
that
they don't
many
have anything
Somali
to
kids
hide.
named Joey in Minneapolis.
Okay, so then why is only if for Joey? Why is it only for Somalians inside these daycares? Where's the white little kids inside these daycares?
Maybe they don't go to like federally funded daycares. They get probably taken by their white parents to.
So who's being robbed?
Like I suppose in this premise, the taxpayer.
Yes, the hard-working taxpayer, while Somalians are taking and committing 89% of the fraud in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean every Somali's doing it.
It does not mean that every Somalian's doing it, and like I said, each of us have the opportunity to create something each and every single day. And if the fraud in Minnesota, where $9 billion have been defrauded, and it's committed by 89% of the population, and money has been tracked down to terrorist organizations inside of Minnesota, we should crack down on that. We should not take 6 years to figure out how to stop fraud.
Mm-hmm.
It's really not that controversial.
Well, I guess they've been trying. Hasn't there been an investigation for the past couple of years where they have like 60 convictions, and you had that one lady who was the ringleader of a big fraud gang who's doing some time right now with her boyfriend. So I mean, there have been like incremental changes in dismantling these networks, right?
There's also a man who was charged and convicted of $7 million in fraud in Minnesota, and a judge overruled it.
Mm-hmm.
When have you ever seen a place where someone is charged and found guilty for committing $7 million in fraud, and then a judge steps in and overrules it and lets the man walk?
Do you think there might have been a particular reason? Have you looked into the details of the case?
I don't care whatever reason it is. He committed a crime of $7 million.
But if the judge is letting him walk, and maybe they looked into
He was
it.
found by a jury.
So you think the judge might have been like a bleeding heart liberal type who was like bought a sob story and was like, go back
I
to
don't care what she was. She let a man walk who had committed $7 million of fraud of people like me and yours dollars.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever personally been defrauded?
I have.
What happened?
I gave a man money thinking that he was going to get me back on a loan, and he never did.
Did you try to pursue any judicial means to get accountability for that?
In the process right now.
Wow, that would be a crazy full circle moment. If you exposed fraud on a national level and then you got your buddy to give you the money back.
Yeah, it would be good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Leering Center, just to clarify, I'm not saying the Leering Center had a good operation running. I think they had dozens upon
Would
dozens.
you want to put your kid in the daycare where the doors are blacked out and there's actually no windows and there's no place for your child to play outside?
Well, I mean, I guess there has been a lot of school shootings.
You're justifying that, Andrew, with putting kids inside of a daycare with no windows?
There's no windows in the entire facility, like a mechanic.
No, there's a door that's blacked out.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm saying the Leering Center is clearly run quite badly.
Yes.
They've had more violations. I read one violation, they're letting kids throw scissors around, which I remember even back in daycare in my day, that was an instant dismissal. They call your parents. It seems like it was run really, really poorly.
Yes. And yet they received $1.9 million.
So I guess
And why would they give a place that has 90 violations $1.9 million?
But is that specifically fraud?
Why would they give a business that has committed over 90 violations $1.9 million?
But if there's still kids there, I'm just trying to be specific with language. If there's still kids there, it's not technically fraud. It's just being irresponsible with where you allocate federal funding to.
Who's the manager then partying with at the celebration of the election?
Are you talking about being seen with the mayor of Minneapolis?
Yes.
And so you think that that's still fraud, though? Because it's
Yes.
not technically theft, it's just
It is
really
fraud.
irresponsible
It's
spending.
frauding. It's fraud. They're taking money. They don't deserve it. They are fraud. That's fraud. And they're running businesses illegally with multiple violations. That business should not be receiving money. They are frauding people like me and you. And they're frauding the mom that's paying to put her kid in the daycare.
I want to draw the line between no kids and kids having a really bad time.
Well, if the place is licensed for 99 children and they only have 10 or 12 inside there and they're receiving $1.9 million like Quality Learning Center is, that company should not receive a single dime from me or you or any person in Minnesota. And they are receiving money from the federal government because that is Federal and state money.
So don't you see this as potentially being a story that really evolves into a probe of the Democratic establishment in Minnesota and how they're kind of sloppily just allocating all these different federal and state funds as opposed to specifically highlighting the Somali community? Or do you see it as both?
89% of the fraud is being committed by Somalians.
Where exactly is that statistic from?
You can pull it up on the screen. You'll find it.
I just want to know where it's from.
You want me to find it right now?
For sure, just so I can, I don't know, I believe you. I just want to make sure we have the exact thing. Your phone. Supposed to use that angle.
Right here. Right here, the figure 89% does not represent the total percentage of all fraud in Minnesota. Instead, it refers to the percentage of individuals charged in connection with specific high-profile federal fraud cases.
Because 89% of those charged in connection with major. Wow.
Identified as Somali Americans.
Well, looks like we've got redo there. Looks like
I'm interested to see what you put in this interview because
looks like there is a problem with fraud.
Yeah, and it's not racist to say it.
I don't
Tim
know.
Walz calls people like me racist for pointing out the fact that Somalians are committing fraud.
But I think that probably.
And when I go to the daycares, there's not a single white person running any of these daycares. Not a single white woman opened up the door.
Mhm.
A lot of them could barely even speak English.
Well, it sounds like
should be in autism. We haven't even talked about autism. How come they went from $1 million to $200 million going towards Medicaid for autistic children?
So moving back from autism real quick. So you mentioned that 89% of the fraud happening in Minnesota is done by people who are Somalian. Now, also, I read that less than 1% or half a percentage point of the Somali community is engaged in fraud. So it seems like you have.
They're all in on it.
No, but it seems like you have a pretty small part of the community that's engaged in this fraud. So wouldn't the next step in the change pipeline be eliminating those individuals?
If the Somali community would let me into their community and let me go and talk to them, I'd be more than happy to.
No, I'm talking about on a law enforcement level, like a judicial level, like holding those individuals accountable and kind of getting that problem out of the community as opposed to blaming the community as a whole.
Yeah, so what you're seeing with my video, never ever have I ever seen a video where right after, literally within a few hours, federal investigations are launched in to crack down on the fraud.
Yeah.
So we're making change.
Mm-hmm. No, but I'm saying like the main change would be probably just identifying who the kingpins of the fraud are and getting them held accountable judicially, right?
Yeah. Then you also have another issue with it is these people are Muslim. Muslims literally have 4 wives, and inside of these daycares, who's all working inside the daycare? Women.
As far as the wives go, that's not a thing in Utah.
It's not a thing in Utah.
That's a negative stereotype.
Negative stereotype. There are communities, the general population, 99% of the population in Utah, do not. That's why also going back to the point of being called, why we don't call ourselves Mormons, because you can misconceptualize that with groups that left the original Church of Jesus Christ.
Well, I would argue that less than 1% of Muslims in America have more than a single wife.
I don't know. Their religion allows them to have it. Maybe if they are, good for them. But that is a thing that they are able to have 4 wives. It's in their religion, and it's not against the law.
I'm just saying, when's the last time you've seen a Muslim guy with just 4 wives?
Well, they treat their women differently. You'll never see a man. You'll never see a Muslim man praying side by side with his wife. They're treated differently.
They segregate the prayer, right?
Yeah, and even in the house, they pray behind the man. Can ask a Muslim woman to shake your hand. She can't shake it. They're treated differently than men.
So you feel like there's societal and cultural differences that make people from Islamic societies incompatible with the U.S.?
I think if you ask a Muslim man, if we were to go to war with a country in the Middle East, ask them who they would support. That will tell you everything you need to know.
I'm on it.
Do it. And you'll realize, well, maybe these people don't have our best interest at heart.
I'll do it. I'm serious. Promise.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, and with the daycare fraud, there's legit videos, you can find them, of these daycare owners then going and giving the woman cash, and that's why you also have 81% living on welfare, because a lot of the women don't have to claim the money that they just received from working from these daycares. It's a whole entire corporation. You have daycares, you have home health cares, you have adult daycares, you have transportation companies, you have translators that take these people to the hospital, and they're all working for that same group, and they're all receiving millions of dollars.
Yeah, the
in
NGO,
cash.
the NGO iceberg is pretty crazy.
And so why would you be actually doing paperwork correctly or giving these women paperwork if you know if you don't pay them on paper, you can just give them cash.
Yeah.
And then they can go and claim welfare and get food stamps and then claim housing and get free housing. Why would you do that? It's obviously it's fraud, but it's screwing over Americans.
Well, it's time to stop getting screwed.
I'm 100% agreeing. So we have the opportunity to make that change, and we have to do it, or else
We're gonna keep getting screwed.
we're gonna keep getting screwed.
And I think that's the Nick Shirley, Andrew Callaghan message: is whoever you are, stop screwing us.
Yes.
All right, bro. Appreciate your time. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
That was a good interview, man.
Yeah.
You had a good time?
Yeah. I literally at the beginning, my heart, because I had been eating, I was like kind of jittery.
And I'll send it to you before it comes out.